Mr. Prime Time.
1, 2. Keep it at 2 for now because this is dangerous.
Well, dude, I got like a long list from here, so don't worry about that. Well, the game has come and gone, and you know what the weird thing is? Like, you try to we expect bad things, right? Like, you expect them to lose. A lot of us predicted a kind of like a blowout loss, especially after our preview. So you expect a lot of bad things, and you watch it, and then when it happens, for some reason, I still find myself getting pissed off. Like I don't know why I'm mad. Like I'm literally furious again. Like I don't know why this team brings me into their hellhole, but I'm in it.
It's because of the way it happens. So now Adam Gase officially has more double-digit losses than he does career wins. All right, we're officially, I think, the worst NFL team in history on 3rd and short, 4th and short. I don't know what the hell we're doing. Giving the ball to Trayvon Wesco, the pitch to Le'Veon Bell, complete disaster. But you know what pissed me off the most? And I think it pissed you off too. I saw you tweeting about it also. Can we tell that fucking bozo who's operating the sound system at MetLife that when you want to generate crowd noise, usually it's for the defense to try and stop the opposing offense, not when Joe Flacco is getting to the line of scrimmage. That pissed me off more than anything else. Do these guys have a freaking clue?
From top to bottom, like you try to look at the game from top to bottom, from the stadium director to the public relations guy, to the social media accounts, to the owner, the general manager, the coach, the players. This is a true mess. This is just gross. Like I was watching that too. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, we're on offense. Joe Flacco's going to the line and there's jet chants going out. I'm like, I understand the Jets want to act like they're a big time organization. And if the fans were in attendance, there would be crowd noise, which would not be positive crowd noise. We'd be booing them off the goddamn field. But that's it. It just shows how incompetent, how clueless they are. They're trying to market something. They don't know what they're even marketing. So you go to the game and, I thought they would lose. Obviously, I thought there's matchups. But the one thing I keep in mind is this wasn't even a good game by the Cardinals. The Cardinals didn't play well at all. For at least 3/4 of the game, it was ugly on both sides, where the game was very winnable, which I know we want them to lose for draft picks and everything else, but the game was there to be had. It was very winnable. So you look at the offense. The offensive line at times played decent without Becton, and then there's times they played awful. Then Pirine, again, no carries. They barely even use him. So now it's Frank Gore and Le'Veon Bell. I mean, Herndon's awful. Like, Herndon is to the point where he's regressed so bad, you can cut him. Like, I'm done with him. Like, I'm done with the Chris Herndon experience. Like the play calling, so then Adam Gase opens up the playbook today. He's like the first series, he rolls him out. I'm like, dude, this is all the things you want to see with Darnold. He does with Flacco. I'm like, dude, this is just a mess, man.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was pretty much mixed on both sides of the ball in terms of what we've seen for
Bradley McDougall.
The first 4 weeks.
Dude.
He sucks.
Get him off the fucking field. Seriously, he doesn't like contact. He doesn't like to hit, dude. No. Like, what do we like? I'd rather see Ashton Davis run around circles with his speed than watch McDougall do nothing. And I don't even know what Marcus May does. I don't know what our safeties are doing. I like Avery Williamson, but our up the middle is a joke.
And that's amazing too, because we didn't send any pass rushers. We weren't blitzing at all. At times we were sending 2, 3 at max.
They were dropping 4 guys. Like 9.
Exactly. And yet we still got picked apart for 375 yards. It couldn't have been any easier. Like you said, they didn't play a good game.
No, not at all.
They left plenty of opportunities out there. They did not play a good game. The defense kind of held up, bend but don't break for the first 3 quarters, and then it kind of went downhill. But, man, this was just and especially on offense, it was a lot of the same where you saw Flacco make a few nice plays. He had the 2 dimes that he threw in there at the end to Berrios, and I forget who the other one was, to I think Smith maybe, where they both dropped the ball. And it's like, at times he looks good. At times he looks like shit. At times, they're opening the offense and getting the ball out. We saw some motion finally, but it's not consistent. Nothing is consistent. And then when we're faced in the big down, 3rd and short, 4th and short, we have nothing.
And I find all these little changes are making comical, because now it's, week 5, we're making changes. So wait, it takes you 4 bad losses to start figuring all this out after the media and the fans have pointed out every flaw you have? You could obviously didn't figure it out yourself. And now they're like, we had a spirited practice this week. So what, now your jobs are threatened after 4 weeks? They should have been threatened 2 weeks ago. I mean, this is just, it's amateur hour. This is an amateur hour organization. It's a clown show from top to bottom. And it's so funny because now you start seeing the members of the media starting to slowly turn on Gase and slowly turn on Joe Douglas. Like Connor Hughes had a phenomenal tweet. He's like, well, if you want to rebuild the offensive line next year, Van Roten won't cost a lot. Lewis won't cost a lot. These like Fant won't cost a lot. So now we're going to give Joe Douglas a pass on the guys he signed this year?
You know,
Like, at what point is Frank Pollock questioned? Because if the offensive line sucked last year and it sucked this year, and you change the players, is it the players or the coaching?
but hold on. What Joe Douglas did, right, with all these
He didn't
bad
do
names.
anything. What did he do?
That's what I'm about to get to. This was what McCagnon did. The glorified 1 year, 3 year contract where it was low risk, high reward. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle, but you're cutting the guy a year later because he didn't work out. You're going in circles. You're going nowhere. You're not putting building blocks in place to actually set a foundation. That's what we were supposed to do this offseason around your quarterback. And yet we're talking about cutting half these guys. The other half we haven't even seen yet because they're still fucking hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like you look at the injury report coming in this game, and it spoke volumes. When you see Darnold and Becton on it, like, well, there's your problem. And then the worst thing is, it's not bad enough that the Jet Stadium has these chants. These clowns, these announcers on the game had no idea what they're talking about. It's like, I really want to see Sam Darnold play with Perriman and Le'Veon Bell. Well, first of all, he did, and first of all, Perriman sucks. Oh no, it was Perriman and Vincent Smith. Now Vincent Smith's the goddamn answer for the team. That's our savior. That's the missing piece to the offense. Give me a break, dude. Like, this is just, I mean, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. There's no rhyme or reason. They can't get 3rd and 1. They go to Wesco, which I wanted to break my TV. Literally, dude, I had a can. I had a can in my hand. I'm like, are you serious? I'm going to go nuts. And then to play the Bell, it's like, dude, why is it so complicated? Why do they make offense so complicated? I do not understand it. When every other team in the NFL can overcome injuries, everything else, and get a yard. 1 fucking yard.
We don't know the term quarterback sneak, or at least we don't want to use it.
Dude, a halfback dive right in the middle. You know, you use Gore for everything else, dude. They use Gore for everything else. Why not use him there? That would be the most logical time to use him. Not all this other shit you're trying to force down our throats. And no, P. Ryan is criminal, dude. Like, I don't know what case.
No, hold on. We saw P. Ryan on fucking kickoff return. That's
he looked lost back there. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was just happy to catch the ball. He wasn't even doing that cleanly. Special teams has become a fiasco. Like, so this was.
And while we're on the rookies, where was Zuniga today? Was he even out there? I mean,
I don't know. I don't understand the personnel groupings. I don't understand any of
it. The one thing you want to see, and you saw it a little bit, Lamar Jackson, guys like that getting out there a little bit towards the end, but you want to see some of these young kids out there playing, getting reps and developing. Why is Frank Gore still getting, I don't know how many carries he got today, 8 to 10, somewhere in that range, I think. Why is he getting those over P. Ryan? Why isn't Ashton Davis playing over McDougald? Like, all these things, they make no sense. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
No, there are so many guys on this team that should be benched immediately. And you know what? And like, so what? They cut Alec Ogletree, yesterday? 2 weeks too late. That's your big statement. Nobody's impressed by that. No. You know, your middle linebackers are getting mauled all over the field. The center of your defensive line, which used to be a strength, is a joke. They're running right at you. I'm telling you, the safeties are terrible. Bradley McDougald is terrible. I don't know what he has to do to get benched, because maybe what is he, like, calling the plays back there? What is he doing back there? He's awful. I'd rather see Ashton Davis make mistakes week in, week out, all day long and learn than watch him back there. Horrendous. Like, this is just this defense, man. And it's like they didn't play well. They did, like, the Cardinals didn't even play that well. Like, I'm surprised it took Hopkins so long to get going. Like, they should have had, a couple hundred yards way earlier than that.
They struggled, and they still put up 500 yards, 28 first downs, and 30 points, and they struggled. Think about that.
Yeah, and the thing is, the one thing I do when I come out of this game, because we expected a loss, so I expected a loss, so I'm not going to. I mean, this is what's supposed to happen. They were in the game. It should have been a lot more competitive based on how bad the Cardinals played. Flacco was rusty. He got into it. Where is our hope? Where is our glimmer of hope? Where are our building blocks? What player do we walk away from this game and say, thank God he played today. I look forward to seeing him play next week. Who is it? Crowder?
Jamison Crowder and John Franklin Myers.
And he got hurt.
That's what we have. Yeah.
That's it. So then where is Joe Douglas helping us in this process? Because we questioned him the entire offseason, but everybody told us how great he was. We question moves. We're always negative. We're always negative. We're always the asshole Jet fans. That's all we are. We're not the experts. I don't study X's and O's. I don't study none of this shit. I really don't care. I don't want to see all 22. My 2 eyes watching football, I know what I see. This is a bad team that has no goddamn talent. And then you look at, we have 11 more games of this shit, right? And then you say, okay, we have that. What are we bringing over to next year? Like, what comes over next year? Like, what are these valuable pieces that Joe Douglas gave us do we bring next year? Where are they? Who are they?
Even some of the moves that we were praising him for, that I personally like, Jordan Jenkins, Brian Poole, low risk contracts 1 year for like $3.5 million or whatever it was. Jenkins was invisible today. He got beat around the corner by Murray for the touchdown. Poole, he got hurt at one point. I didn't notice him after that. I mean,
what is Quinnen Williams? Do we even know what Quinnen Williams is right now?
Nope.
Like we criticize Sam. Oh, year 3. Okay, at what point does Quinn Williams have to have this this big breakout play where he's going to show us something? When does that happen?
Well, it happens, but it happens with a penalty.
Dude, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. Like, there's no glimmer of hope at all. Yeah, put him on. Let's hear this clown.
We couldn't.
I don't want to listen to this.
Football and offense. I mean, we had opportunities in the red zone.
Had opportunities in the red zone.
We get an interception, and we're not getting anything out of that. And
I don't even want to listen to this guy.
It's just
bring up some comments.
It's too much for us to overcome.
No, let's listen to it.
Then
we're going to live stream a press conference.
17-10, and then get them in 4th and 1, and then they convert and then end up scoring and put the game out of reach. So
Pat and a Gase line.
Put that, whatever you guys got.
Good week of practice. Clown.
I mean, it wasn't recommended by Sports Science, so
I don't know. Picture-wise, where do you go from here at 0-5? How do you kind of keep this team together?
You can't.
I mean, we gotta go back to work. We gotta get
good week of practice.
Gotta learn from this film.
Learn from the film.
We gotta figure out a way to play
complimentary football.
Full 60 minutes.
60 minutes of football. Now we're going for.
Playing well.
That's a Todd Bowles quote.
It's just like one side's playing well, the other side's not. And
which side does he coach?
Finally started getting something going, and then we fall apart on the other side, and just not giving ourselves a chance to be there in the end.
Adam, when a team goes for it on 4th and 1 from its own territory after you've just cut it to a touchdown,
we punted on 4th and 1
sign up there. I mean, it just seems like they have no respect that you guys even.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with that quarterback and the skill players they got.
Oh, now it's the quarterback that they have.
There's so
this guy's got more fucking excuses than any coach in the NFL, man. He's a walking excuse dude.
When you basically are 35 or less with him, all your run pass options are available. So you have to play a certain way on defense.
What does it matter that Kyler Murray's fast? Tom Brady's the best at 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. He just sneaks it right up the middle.
Play action pass.
This guy's creating new excuses, man. Is he for real? This is ridiculous.
You didn't do it with Sam. You didn't do it with Flacco. What kind of quarterback do you need?
Give some attention there. So it's just they have a lot of options there, and they can cause
a lot of options there.
Oh, so we don't have any options.
Adam, you guys have, in your 5 games this year, Adam, you guys
just throwing players under the bus.
More possessions. I mean, why have you had such a problem keeping these games close all the way through to the final whistle?
I mean, it's just we got to play a full 60 minutes. We got to play more competitive for 60 minutes. We're letting it get away, at a certain point in the game. I mean, those first 2 games, it's hard to even look at those, and I mean, those got away too early, and then these last 2, it's like we have an opportunity to swing the game, and we're not doing it.
How do you think Joe did?
I think there was a lot of good. I felt I'll be interested when we go back and watch it just to see how many drops we had. I felt like we had some completions early that could have got us going, and we either had a drop or
they had some big drops. Some big plays could have happened. They definitely dropped it. I'll give them that.
Yep. There was the 2 in the end zone.
A pretty good job. I know there's going to be some
Herndon
throws
had the
that
one
he wish
big
he had
one
back, or some decisions they'd rather, probably would want to change. But it's hard to say without watching the film.
To the best of your
knowledge,
right now, where does Sam stand for the next game? Do you think he'll be ready to practice on Wednesday?
I'm not sure, Rich. I'll probably know more tomorrow.
Yeah, because the night of sleep will matter.
What happened on the 3rd and 1 and the 4th and 1 down in the red zone?
I mean, I'm gonna have to look at that to see exactly what happens, because it was hard to tell from the pictures.
Hard to tell.
Exactly, what the issue
hard to
was.
tell. Got to see the film.
Kind of penetration to where it's we had to stop our feet and try to make a cut. I don't know if
how do you expect to make in-game adjustments if it's hard to tell when you look at the picture? It's hard to tell what went wrong or what you have to do to get it right.
You can't see what's going on in the field, so you can't make adjustments.
The 3rd and 1, I thought we were.
He spends all fucking game looking at the goddamn play sheet, looking at his iPad, and he doesn't know what went wrong.
It just seemed like it was just, we got stopped there. I don't know what happened exactly.
I don't know what happened. Your coach just tells you, I don't know what happened.
That consistent rhythm. I mean, this is, I don't know, it's like 5 games in a row.
I get dumber listening to him.
17 points.
It's like the Billy Madison. We are all dumber.
And it's hard to say, hey, this is what it would be. If those, other guys are in there. I mean, it's hard to put it all on one group. I mean, I think we just
It's a cumulative
have
loss.
negative plays at the wrong time. You know, we can't put ourselves in second and long, and then when we do get 3rd and 5 or less, we got to convert.
Can somebody ask about that 2nd and 26 running play? I'm real curious about that
We
one.
need to continue to drive.
Tagore? Yeah.
Adam, with at 0-5, with all the things that have taken place, where do you tell the Jet fan that there's hope at this point?
There is none.
Be good.
I mean, where is the hope?
Well, I mean, if you watch these guys practice, you watch these guys. How
We
they
don't
get
watch them
effort
practice. We watch them play.
and how these guys are trying to get all this stuff right and figure out a way to correct the
So don't
mistakes that are made.
we got to watch them practice. Then we'll be
I mean,
proud of
if
them.
you were there day in and day out and saw those guys how
Jets
they
motto for the
practiced
last 10
last
years.
week,
Best team in
you wouldn't know
practice.
what our record was. You know,
You wouldn't know what the record was if you watched them practice.
They
They're
came
the
out
best
and they-
practice team in football.
I mean, it was max
Bunch
effort.
of
I mean, they were
clowns.
flying around. They competed. They did, you know, the execution was really good. You know,
Execution was good in
Friday,
practice.
not practicing Friday kind of, you know, took the wind out of our sails a little
Oh,
bit.
that's what it was.
You know,
not
but
practicing
I thought
Friday.
they did a good job Saturday when
Took
they
the
came
wind out of
in and we
themselves.
kind of extended the day and, you know, try to make up for all that stuff, you know, through walkthroughs and going through the practice the day before. I mean, it's just, you know, I guess it's just what I see at practice, the result. It's
So why doesn't it translate
it's
then,
just
you
a matchup.
clown?
Take a couple more.
Adam, I don't know why that.
What happened on the delay of game after the interception? What
Forgot
happened
about
there?
that
And then the decision to make the
Delay
challenge.
a game. We didn't get into
What went
that.
into that?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you the first.
The delay of game after the interception.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to talk to those guys.
I don't watch it on
What the
film.
fuck do you mean you don't know?
What exactly happened.
I don't like it doesn't he doesn't know.
Game.
Hey, Adam, are you at all frustrated? You sound a little exasperated.
Exasperated.
Yeah, I mean,
He's lost.
when you're 0-5, I mean, I'm watching these guys put the amount of time and effort and trying to do
I
more.
can't take anymore. I can't take anymore. I really can't take anymore of this.
You can only laugh at this point.
You know, we get to 17-10 and we end up losing the game. And it's frustrating for all those guys in there, you know, and
You can cut it off, dude. I'm tired of hearing it. I can't take any more prime time.
we gotta
I
come
can't take any
back
more.
and
You gotta turn him off. So basically, you made an excellent point here. So whenever he's asked about something where he doesn't want to explain the mistakes he made or the problems they had, he says, well, I really didn't see what happened. I got to watch the tape. So then is that why no in-game adjustments are being made on either side of the ball because they can't really see what's going wrong? Or is he just trying to fool us with, or trying to fool us because obviously he doesn't know what he's doing? He can't even justify the mistakes they're making. On 3rd and 1, the Wesco is insane. Insane. That just reeks. Give the ball to Frank Gore. On 4th and 1, the Bell, the way they strung out the play like that was like, what are we doing here? Like, it's not winning football, man. This is not. He's a quitter. He's got a loser mindset. He's arrogant with his play calling. He's in over his head. He's not an NFL head coach, period. And this is not an NFL roster either. This roster is barren, man.
It's one thing trying to give the excuse about a certain play that, oh, we got to look at it on the film, even though I completely disagree with that. Like I said, you should be able to make the in-game adjustments and know what went wrong or what went right. But on a fucking delay of game penalty, you just had an interception. You have time to get your personnel out there. Like we talked about, I think it was Buffalo.
Be honest, though. Did you expect a touchdown there?
No, of course not.
I'm like, this is a field goal. Like, I wanted to tweet it up. Like, this is guaranteed to be a field goal. You have the ball on 10-yard line. Like, they're not scoring.
That's why I knew you tweeted out that this has to be a touchdown on this drive, so you could set it up for that. I know how you operate, but dude. Yeah, of course. You get the ball on the 10-yard line. Absolutely, you got to punch that in. It's a momentum-changing play. Your defense finally stepped up. They set you up on the 10, and what's the first thing you do? Delay of game. That's how you're set up and prepared for a play like that. So you can't even point the finger at the defense because they gave you a golden opportunity and you did nothing with it.
Now, the question I have with Pierre Desir, I guess he can't play the other side of the field. He couldn't follow Hopkins around. Is that the rule they had with him?
I don't know why they would want him.
I mean, like, he had Lamar Jackson on at some point. Like, Bless Austin being out was, I mean, Bless Austin was hurt, obviously, but not having him in the game was a blow. But it was like, wow, you're going to put Lamar Jackson on him. Like, cool. Like, not even rotating and switching him around. Like, Desir, like, I guess he only stays on one side. I don't know. But, I mean, there's not a lot to like out of this game. Crowder, I guess, once again, the drop passes, the play calling, the sloppy defense, the mistakes, the challenge play, dude. Why'd you even challenge that? It was clear.
You know why he challenged it. He has no confidence at all in any of his play calls to get a 3rd and 1. So yes, of course he's going to challenge it. He was hoping that the review would show that maybe Crowder got it. We all knew he didn't get it, but he has to throw the challenge because he doesn't have any confidence in his playbook at all. He can't get a 3rd and short.
And the weird thing is, a lot of these receivers always run out of bounds a yard short. You ever notice that? Like, they're always at the sideline and they turn right out of bounds. Like, they don't Like a lot of times they don't even fight for that yard. Like they have neither no idea of where they're at on the field, or I mean, is that me or am I just? I mean, I've had some drinks, so
no, they're making. I personally think a lot of these players are making business decisions where if you're playing for something this year, you're fighting for that extra yard. If you respect your head coach, you're probably fighting for that extra yard. When it's Adam Gase and nobody's going to hold you accountable, and you know this season is where it is, it's going nowhere. What reason do you have to fight for that extra yard and risk getting hurt like Chris Hogan did at the end of the game? Like, what reason do you have to do that?
And the other thing, too, is, and the announcers actually said something like all the passion and energy that Arizona Cardinals came to the game with. They were jumping around, they're hooting and hollering, they're all fired up. And then you see the zombies, a bunch of zombies where they're just like, all right, you know.
Yep.
I guess all the home crowd wasn't firing them up enough, even though the Jets are blasting all that music and all the it's third down stuff, which is laughable. This is just how many more games of this? We got 11 more games of this?
At least the bye week is a week sooner now. The schedule change.
Like the only thing that's gonna top this off is that like Tua plays for the Dolphins, then he lights us up too. That's the only thing that's gonna happen now. Like there's how much worse can this season get? You have your quarterback out, your left tackle out, you have like 22 zombies, you're losing every game, you're getting blown out. Like what else could possibly happen this year?
It would be much worse if Fitzpatrick lights us up instead of Tua.
He did that last year.
I know. It would hurt. At least for me, it would hurt.
What else could possibly go wrong this season? Like what is left? Like there's nothing else left. Like this draft class is a joke. They're all hurt. So you expect nothing. Like you're going to get all these pieces, these valuable pieces that what Chris Spielman was talking about, all these great prominent pieces. We're going to have them for like 3 games at the end of the year, right?
Probably, if that.
I mean, I don't even know what to go with this. I don't even know what to do with this thing. Like, but you try not to get mad, and like I can't help the play calling drives me insane.
You know, I legitimately wasn't getting mad because this is what I expected. We did our preview show. I expected them to lose by 20. They lost by exactly 20. This is exactly what we expected. The thing that legitimately got me the maddest was listening to the JETS chants as we were on offense, going to the line of scrimmage, getting ready to call the snap, and you're pumping in crowd noise. That just shows exactly how tone deaf and out of touch this entire organization is. That's the guy that you have operating your sound system, that he doesn't know that the crowd noise goes when you're on defense. Like, dude, it's such a circus, dude.
So you look at see, I always try to look at it from the ownership perspective, because I would have fired Gase about 3 weeks ago. So now Chris Johnson comes in the office tomorrow. If he even comes to the office, probably stays home and just a Zoom meeting with his team. He probably doesn't want to go into that mess over there. So he looks at it. They've lost 5 in a row. All these double-digit losses for Adam Gase. Here's my new approach, because I'm trying to find reasons why they're trying to keep him. Is there one player, just give me one player that has significantly improved under Adam Gase?
I don't have anybody.
Like, just say even from week one of this season, not even last, week 1 from this season to now, Jeff Smith made some plays, but he's been invisible today. Herndon was awful. Griffin's invisible. Le'Veon Bell's not being used right. Frank Gore is Frank Gore. P. Ryan's not getting a chance.
There's nobody.
Berrios has a lot of drops. Hogan's got a lot of drops. On offense, is there one player? Becton is still a work in progress, so we don't know where he is to say he's getting better. We don't know what he is yet. So you can't give him credit for that.
Even Fant, you were starting to think, okay, and then today he didn't look good. He got blown out a couple times. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nobody that you can point to that Adam Gase's system has made better. No.
So on our entire offense, we just went through 11 guys. There's not one player, including the quarterback, that's hurt.
Yep.
There's not one player that's gotten better so far.
Nope.
Robbie Anderson got better, but he's gone.
Another 100-yard game for Robbie. Oh, and your boy, Chase Claypool, 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, the Jets offense has a total of 6.
Don't get me started, man. I told you, he was like a hybrid tight end, man. He's got so much talent. So, okay, so then we say, okay, on offense, nobody's getting better. On defense, is there one player that sticks out? Like, wow, at least this guy's really showing us something. He's getting better on defense.
John Franklin Myers. I think that's probably it.
Maybe Bryce Huff. Maybe.
Didn't notice him too much today.
Yeah. So 22 players. Nothing. There's not one person getting better after 5 games.
Not even our guys not getting better. These guys were playing better last year. They're regressing, just like we have the conversation about Sam, how he's regressing. A lot of these guys on defense are regressing. I haven't noticed Nathan Shepard, haven't noticed Fadu Kasi, Kyle Phillips, like the way he was playing last year. Yep. Like all these guys that, kind of filled a role last year, and you would notice them in moments during the game. They're all pretty much invisible now. You're playing a conservative defense, corners, 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. It couldn't be any easier for the opposing offenses. And yeah, guys are invisible. There's gaping holes throughout the defense. The first touchdown was 29 yards untouched.
Untouched.
Yeah, it's a joke.
There is nothing like it's like like you try to like in a lost season. Like I keep going back to those the Kotite years because I we both lived through them, but I lived through them like way too closely.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, that team had a lot of talent. So Parcells came in, got them all in shape, made them much more disciplined, and gave them good game plans, good coaching, and then you started winning football games. That's not the case with this team. Like you could just say in theory, I think Parcells is 15 years younger, and you brought him to this team next year. He's not getting 8 or 9 wins out of these clowns. Because like, first of all, 60% of them are going to be gone.
No,
this roster is barren, dude. There is no talent here at all. And that falls on Joe Douglas, too. Because this is his free agent class and his rookie class. Rookie class is all hurt, and the free agency you have brought in are been mediocre at best. There's not one. Who's the best one he brought in? Maybe McGovern? Maybe? Do you consider McGovern a building block at center?
He hasn't looked like it, to be honest. I mean, for the money that we're paying him.
What do you do?
You can make a very valid argument that this roster was significantly better last year. That with the right coach, they should have been an 8 to 9, maybe 10-win team last year with a good coach, an innovative coach that can elevate pieces. Because look at what Robbie Anderson's doing right now. You throw in Jamal Adams, maybe C.J. Mosley's playing. Like that could have been a good team. But now, like we're talking about nothing. Like there's legitimately nothing here. There's nobody progressing. You don't even have your draft picks playing, half of them.
Yep. So we'll start going to some comments because there's not really a lot of analysis here. Yep. Like this game was very winnable, and the Jets find ways to lose. And it starts with the coach. I don't understand half of it. I just don't understand what they're doing. I really don't. For every good play, there's 3 plays that make you scratch your head. The challenge play, the 2nd and 26 running the ball. He's got no situational awareness. They play for field goals. Like it's just I just don't understand. I really don't. First comment: our wide receiver not talented. No arguments here, man. I mean, like even what's it was Spielman? I think did the game. He was like, well, he goes, Berrios is a good guy, but is he a starting NFL receiver? He's no, he's not.
Yep. And we touched on
your only guy.
Yeah, and we touched on that during the week. Like all these guys, Berrios, Smith, like they could be good complementary pieces, but asking them to be your number 1 and number 2 guys, it's a recipe for disaster. And that's part of the reason why like I haven't been willing to throw Sam to the Wolves like a lot of people are, especially in the media, because we saw even with Flacco today, did the offense really change all that much? It was up and down.
They opened the playbook for him.
Well, yeah,
they opened, and then
they opened the playbook, and they still at most should have had 17 points if we catch that touchdown at the end, at most. So again, it was a lot of flashes and a lot of moments where they did nothing.
That wide receiver pass that Jeff Smith was going to do, you can do one end around, you get big yards. You don't go to a trick play right after that. They were looking for it. Yep. Like he's got no awareness. But like the plays they called today, they don't call for Darnold. So now that's even more criminal. So you trust Flacco, he hasn't even played in your offense before. He's been out of football a year, and they're going to do this for him, and you don't let Sam do that?
That brings me back. I'm sure somebody watching will remember the quote. What was the exact quote that Gase gave last year at some point about, it's so awesome to have a quarterback like Sam who can get you out of a bad play call. I think that's part of the problem. He relies on Sam to just kind of sit back there, run around for 8 seconds, and get him out of his shitty play calls, because that's the majority of our touchdowns this year, when Sam's running around making magic happen.
Next comment, Primetime and Tyson. I love watching every other NFL team because it's exciting. I'd rather watch the Browns or Dolphins than the Jets, and I'm a Jets fan. That's a fact, Andrew. Listen, the Jets are the worst team in football. They're not well coached. The offense is antiquated. You get two two decent plays, and like right now, we get excited when we get a first down. Like it's not like you like a long drive, like 2 for back-to-back first downs. Like we're doing like, oh my God, this is a series here. We got a drive going. That's how bad it's been.
And the problem is like, we were just kind of touching on, like there's no rhyme or reason to the play calling. Like where you do a trick play, it's like going off of something else that worked earlier in the game. Like none of the play calls make sense. There's no sequence or anything that makes them make sense. And I think it was Bart Scott that was just touching on it in the post game. Like where's the tempo? Where is the tempo? Even with Flacco, he's a veteran quarterback. He should be able to get guys up to the line of scrimmage quickly. A few times you did it, but not enough. And when you're doing it, generally it works. You're keeping the same defense on the field. You're able to expose a weakness, and yet you give them an opportunity to kind of get things going. And I understand that the drops didn't help, but you still have to force the issue as an offense. If you're truly an innovative offensive mind, you should be dictating the pace, and we never do that.
That challenge, my God, dude, that challenge was so bad. It just makes you wonder what the hell they're doing on the sidelines. Did they have any clue what they're going on there? Like, because like we didn't really get a good chance on TV, but I'm like, wait a minute, he stepped out of bounds. Like, to be ready for commercial. I'm like, what? He's out of bounds.
Yeah. But again, 3rd and short, when you're 2 of 8 or whatever it was at the time, you're desperate. So that's what you do. Yeah, Dowell Loggins, throw his challenge flag.
Lamar Jackson didn't come in late and cover Hopkins. He was on him the entire game. And I said, yeah, let's have an undrafted rookie cover the best receiver in the NFL. Weird decision. I mean, I know they're desperate. You know, they have a lot of injuries, stuff like that. But Bless Austin's out. But I was surprised. I'm like, wow, you try to do different coverages and roll coverage over and have safety help and all this stuff. But I was surprised this year didn't follow him. But maybe he only stays on one side. I don't know. I mean,
well,
maybe
I was gonna say with the way Desir's been playing, I don't even want him on Hopkins. Let that experience go to one of your youngsters. So if you thought Lamar Jackson was the best in practice this week and he had earned that opportunity, give it to him. And even on the touchdown, that wasn't really terrible coverage.
That was a beautiful play. Yeah,
and I was gonna say Ashton Davis, he was a little bit late coming over with the safety help. So yeah, I mean, I think he did all he could there.
Yeah, no, I have no problem. Sometimes a top-level receivers can make top-level plays. We're just not used to that because we never see that on our side. We don't have those kind of players.
Exactly. Well, we did. We just didn't use them, right?
Defense did good, set up the O perfectly, and they couldn't do it. Yeah, I mean, they give you the ball on 10-yard line, you get a field goal. I mean, defense wasn't perfect by no means. There's a 29-yard touchdown run and not untouched. The Jets have to lead the league in untouched touchdowns on defense, right? They have to.
And even the one touchdown before the half, what was it? 3rd and 15. You have the offsides, which sets up Murray to kind of just toss it downfield. They get the first down, and then they get points out of that too. I mean, 3rd and 15, you should be off the field, and yet you give up points.
They're just collecting paychecks. Listen, man, there are some guys out there that are doing it, and there's no accountability. They're not getting benched. That's just a fact. Yep. Like Herndon should be benched, dude. There's no reason to bring Herndon out anymore. He's a lost cause out there.
He wasn't starting today. They were saying he was just in on a lot of the passing plays. But still,
so where the hell is Ryan Griffin at? He's useless.
Even that, yeah. Put Griffin out there. Put Wesco out there. They did for a little bit. Of course, they got to get the handoff on 3rd and 1, which made no sense. But yeah, let those guys get some opportunities.
Let's see. The tank was on as soon as they traded Adams. What I fear is that they're actually going to keep Gase around. There's no way they keep Gase around, man. There's no way you can do it. I mean, the surrounding of this guy, I mean, everybody. I mean, Damian Woody, Thomas Jones, dude, prominent people are all calling him out, just blasting him. There's no way you keep him.
Listen, I don't think you can, but we've seen worse from this organization. So until it actually happens, I'm going to be skeptical. I think the writing's on the wall. I think we all know it should happen. We all know it should happen after last year. It should happen after the Brown game where you had the extended week. Or I'm sorry, the Bronco game where you had the extended week. I mean, you had all these opportunities, and more you see Douglas just kind of not do anything, not say anything. So you wonder, are these guys really kind of working together no, they're not going to fire him. I don't know.
This is an excellent point. Look at all teams in the NFL. It's a fast-paced league. The Jets look so ridiculously fast, so ridiculously slow on offense and defense, man. Yep. Guys aren't flying around the ball. I mean, you see team speed overall is lacking everywhere. It really is. You don't have it anywhere.
No. And that's the one thing I think you could be using to elevate the pieces around you. Work up tempo, scheme guys open, put the defense on their heels. And sometimes we do it and it's working, yet we do it for a max 2, maybe 3 plays. And then we have to slow it down again, whether it's because of a drop or because we can't get the right personnel in, whatever it is, we eventually slow it down. And then usually that's where the drive stalls.
Kevin is right. He challenged that for no reason. If you were confident in your play call, why even waste time doing that?
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Do you really think that Cliff Kingsbury would throw a challenge flag on 3rd and 1? You'd be like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna get it. I've got personnel. I know what I can do. I trust my playbook.
Dude, Cliff Kingsbury went for a 4th and 1 on his own 40.
Belichick did that too, I think, a week ago.
They have asked
our first 2 drives. We had 4th and inches and 4th and 1. We punted.
This team does not play. Game. This team does not play for their head coach. Why is this so hard to see? It's not hard for us to see. We've been saying this for 3 weeks. It's hard for Jets ownership to see. Apparently, there are a lot of guys out there that aren't making plays, man. Bradley McDougald does not like to tackle. He is not a hard-hitting safety. There's no enforcer on that defense at all, man. There's not.
And not for nothing, if you still don't know the status on Sam Darnold, in theory, wouldn't this be the perfect time to get rid of Gase, where you can bring in the new voice, whether it's Greg Williams as head coach and Jim Bob Cooter or whoever we've talked about as potentially being the interim guy on offense. You can have them sit with Sam in the film room for 2-3 weeks, kind of get a few plays, a few packages together that work to Sam and what he does well. This would be the perfect time to do it. Wait a couple weeks, get him back out there fresh. You have 8 games to evaluate him with some new plays. Why not do it? But no.
I can make a case to fire him every day for the next 3 months. I could justify it every day, dude. That's the next question. Do you guys think they'll fire Gase during a bye week? You could have fired him on a Thursday night after a Thursday night game. That's a week and a half.
Yep.
You can, at some point, you got to cut your losses here. Like now you're cutting your losses. And now I'm starting to worry about this freaking general manager because I'm like, this is like, right?
Well,
at some point you wonder a little bit.
No, absolutely. I've been worrying about Joe Douglas at this point. The further that he doesn't separate himself from Gase, but this goes back to ownership for me, where they decided to come out after week 1, open their mouth. Chris Johnson with the press conference. Adam Gase is still a brilliant offensive mind. Now I feel like his hands are tied. He doesn't want to go back on his word and look like a jackass. But unfortunately, your players are regressing. Even the Becton injury. I don't know if you heard them say it. I think during the broadcast, It's a capsule injury now, and they don't know how long he's going to be back. I mean, great. Like another player that you mishandled and got hurt.
If there was a time to say a top college team could beat the worst NFL team, it would be now. I mean, the Jets are bad. There is no way around it. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I would trade Herndon for a future 7th round pick. You probably wouldn't even get that, to be honest with you. Right? I mean, if there's a coaching change and Sam plays this Sunday, I feel the team would get a jolt. Dan, we've been saying this for 3 weeks, right? This is the primary reason for firing Gase now, other than all the ineptness and all the incompetence, is get a different voice in this offense's ear, change things up, and see what you actually have on offense. And if that means firing the offensive line coach because the offensive line is not playing good enough, then do it. He should have been fired last year. Right?
Yeah, and I was going to say, look at the Texans today, right? They played great. They won their game. They were motivated. They just fired Bill O'Brien, a coach who was much more accomplished than Adam Gase. So why can't the Jets do it?
Should we rest Darnold an extra week? No reason rushing him back just to lose. Well, it's not really about losing. It's about getting more. I don't even know what it is, dude. You want to see the kid play, man. You want to see what you can do with him. But
yes, but the experience in the Adam Gase system, what is he really learning? To be honest, I feel like him just kind of sitting back, being able to study defenses and watch film and do things like that, that's probably the best thing for him going forward. Being out there, getting his ass beat and running around trying to make his own things happen, is he getting better that way? I really don't know. Like we've talked about, there's moments where he looks phenomenal, he's making plays happen, and then there's moments where we're talking about him regressing and he's not making throws. So if he's in his own head and he's not able to, develop confidence and things like that, I don't know if he's getting better out there in the Adam Gase system. I don't know if it's worth it.
Somebody's calling me out here. What is this? Tyson Roush, it's bad play calling. Gase is the problem. Okay. We all acknowledge that Gase is a bad head coach. We also acknowledge that these players are also bad. We also acknowledge that Joe Douglas made a shitload of mistakes this offseason. So it's called an organizational problem. We also acknowledge that this Jets ownership doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. So, yes, there is more than one problem on this team. It's not just Gase now. It's a series of problems. Right? I mean, is this a discussion? I think it's more than Gase, man.
No, absolutely. I think Gase is the biggest problem, at least the biggest problem that we can fix, because, ownership is not going to change. And, we've had this ownership group before. We've been able to have a few winners. But yeah, it's still been way too long. It's been over a decade of just wrong decisions and incompetence. And unfortunately, right now, the results of this regime look like everything that we've seen over the past decade. There's nothing that either Gase or Joe Douglas have done to distinguish themselves from McCagnon, from Idzik, or, the very end of the Tannenbaum era.
Jets just need to completely rebuild along with their staff. Here's the deal. When you fire Gase next year, whenever this happens, this week, next week, end of the season, you're blowing out the entire staff. Like, goodbye to everybody. We're not inheriting nobody. Your next coach is bringing in all his new guys. Like, you don't tell whoever it is, hey, man, we want you to keep Brant Boyer. We want to keep this. Everybody goes. I'm sorry, Sam Ficken's having a good year. Maybe that's the guy we can give credit to. But, right, like, this is it. Like, you blow out the entire staff. And that's where you're going here. There's nobody should be safe right now.
Yes, and I can't believe we're having this conversation, but we touched on it on the Friday show. I think even Joe Douglas at this point can't be safe if that right head coach becomes available. I don't think that guy's going to be available, but if you can bring in that true culture changer, whoever it might be, the one named Jim Harbaugh, I doubt he would come here. But if you're able to get a guy like that you really think can revamp your organization and he wants a different GM, I think that's something you have to look into, because right now you haven't seen enough from Joe Douglas.
Crowder is always good. Nothing to do with Gase. Everyone has gotten worse, if anything. Jamison Crowder's a beast, man. He plays his heart out. He gives you everything he has. Good yard after the catch. They wouldn't trade him at the trade deadline, would they?
trading anything on offense, if you're planning on getting Sam back, I think would be ridiculous. We've been complaining, every week about the lack of weapons. So ideally, if he's going to come back, you'd like to see him out there with as many weapons as possible. So trading him, trading Bell, I think trading either of those guys would probably be pretty stupid. But it wouldn't shock me because I think it's clear, and I think it's been clear since the Jamal Adams trade, that we're looking towards 2021 in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they even consider trading Crowder because so many teams are desperate for like wide receiver help right now. He's a little bit older. Yeah, I think Bell's definitely gone, dude. Bell is definitely gone. There's no doubt about that. And to be honest, I want him gone. Like I'm done with him too. Like just young. I want young everywhere, young, fast guys all over the place. Like I'm done with him.
I want talent.
Yeah,
I don't care how old.
Not his price tag. I want young, cheap players that are all fast.
So he's slow now.
He didn't look fast, man. When that running play to that 4th and 1, dude, I was like, God damn, man, just cut it sharp and go in. Like even his sharp cuts aren't there, which could be because he's probably still hurt and not like 100%. But
I was say it's his first game back.
I mean, I'm done. Like I'm just cleaning house with everybody. Give me draft picks and fast players, and
I want talent.
Worst season than Kotite. 1,000% agree. This is worse than 1996. This is going to be one of the epically bad seasons in the history of New York Jets. Not even going to be close.
And we called it week 1. So.
Yep. So, here we go. Claypool is balling. Mims is stuck on IR. Only the Jets. Chase Claypool, he's a fascinating player, man, because he's so big, man. He's a big athlete. He's fast.
I was going to say, not even just Claypool. I mean, Henry Ruggs, he had his breakout game today.
Yep.
Like 2 catches for $118 and a touchdown. I mean, every rookie wide receiver that we were talking about within like the first 3 rounds during our draft shows, they're all making plays. Guys like Ayuk, T. Higgins, they are all making plays. We saw Jerry Jeudy firsthand, CeeDee Lamb. I'm sure he's making plays right now. I don't have the game on. But yeah, every single one of those guys that we were hoping the Jets, maybe would trade up to get. Nope, we sat back. We took one receiver, and we were content with that.
I can only imagine the Gatorade bath Gase will get if he wins one game. He may only win one game, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think. Do you think players like him that much? Will celebrate that much? Probably not.
Just throw water in his face.
They're not asking this man simple questions. How do you not know? And that's the one thing you'd like. But the only problem you have is they're doing it over like a video. They're not doing it in person where you can ask that follow-up question. I'm sure they have some kind of control on that. But when Gase continually says, I don't know, I got to see the film, I'm not sure. If something doesn't work on 3rd and 1 and you go for it on 4th and 1, you have to have some kind of inclination what went wrong on 3rd and 1 so you don't call the same play again. Right?
And my question
maybe his head isn't sitting like this the whole goddamn time. You may know what's going on.
Well, if I was a reporter in that room, my follow-up question would be, well, coach, if you were a player in the huddle, and he says to you, hey, coach, what did I do wrong? Or what went wrong on this play? What would your response be to him? I don't know. Or
don't the players tell him what's going on? Hey, coach, say Greg Van Roten, I can't block this guy. Or you know what? I can't call this play. Or Joe Flacco, your veteran Super Bowl winning quarterback, tells him, hey, coach, don't call this play. It's not going to work. Call this play. Like, is there any interaction here? Or is there a dictatorship?
I think we know the answer to that. We never see any communication. He's buried in his playbook, and there's very few communication. So
the offense doesn't help, but the defense looks lost. Listen, the defense has no corners left. The safeties are playing like shit. They have no pass rush, and the defensive line's not doing anything. I mean, Greg Williams, I'm not really sure. Greg Williams did some nice things today by slowing down the Cardinals with all the different zones and stuff, dropping 9 guys. But the Cardinals played like shit too for 3 quarters. They didn't I wasn't impressed at all there. I was like, wow, this is like this team everybody's talking about. And then they got Hopkins going and everything else. But
yeah, I was going to say at various points, I think they both kind of looked lost today. The offense, they made a few plays here and there. They were gifted some points, yet, the 3rd and shorts kind of took away any success that they did have with some of the drives. And then, the defense gave up way too many yards, almost 500 yards. The one penalty that led to some more points. Just too many mistakes and too many blown coverages and just zero pressure at all. You let Murray sit back there and pick us apart.
45 years of watching almost every Jets game. This is hands down the worst it's ever been. The reason why, I agree. There's no glimmer of hope.
No.
There is no blueprint of winning. There's no like, you don't have like 5 guys you can be really proud of. You could say Becton, the quarterback right now, we're hoping, and that's it. There's nobody else. Like, there's nothing else here to be proud of on this team. Like, your face of your franchise is probably your left tackle at this point.
Yeah,
right?
And even him, you're worried about at this point because you didn't handle that injury right. You got him hurt worse. He wasn't able to play this week. Who knows when he's going to be back? So all that success and all the confidence that he was building through the first couple weeks. Now you wonder where his head's at.
Mims better ball the hell out for missing all training camp in 5 weeks. Do you know the expectations for this kid when he comes back? When you see all these other receivers playing well, the expectations of him are going to be off the charts, man.
Yep.
There's no way he lives up to it. There's no way. It's impossible.
Yeah, he's had multiple hamstring injuries. So, yeah, the expecting him to come back at 100%. I mean, I would hope they wouldn't put him on the field until he was 100%. But even then, right now he's still working on his cutting and everything. So, yeah, I think when he does go back out there, it's going to be, in limited packages and things like that. And, yeah, he's not going to put up the stats that you're seeing from some of these other guys.
All right, bad coaching makes it look like you don't have talent. See Gase's Miami teams. Okay, so if John Harbaugh was coaching today's Jets team, like how much difference is it going to be? Like they will probably play better. They won't have dumb penalties, little play calling. But, dude, at some point you got to realize we don't have a lot of talent on the field, right?
Yes, but I think with every game this year, we've had 4 double-digit losses, and the other loss was by 9 points to a third-string quarterback. So, yes, I think that if Harbaugh or a legitimate coach was coaching this team, that these games would be a lot closer. They'd be competitive in the fourth quarter. We wouldn't see the team quitting. We'd see competent play calling on 3rd and short. We'd see a lot more effort on those short yardage plays. And I think we're just seeing a team that really just doesn't care at this point. We've touched on the lack of communication that's not there. Gase not knowing how to make in-game adjustments. All these things I think would make for a much more competitive product. Might not translate to wins, but certainly the competitiveness, I think we'd see closer games in the end.
Who cares when Perriman, Mims, and Crowder with Sam are on the field? Gase does not know how to maximize talent. Fire him tomorrow. I mean, no arguments here. I mean, that's –
nope.
If he called the kind of play calling today when he had Sam Darnold and all those guys, you have a little more confidence in it, but he won't do that. I don't know why.
No, makes no sense. I guess he thought maybe because Flacco's older, can't rely on him to run around and save him from some play calls, so he had to call the plays that would get the ball out quick, quick slants and doing some motion. Veteran quarterback, maybe can read it better, but still, you got to set your quarterback up for those moments. So you should be coaching him in practice to do those things, and it just highlights his failures.
Any update on Mims? The update is that he's still hurt, and he couldn't cut. They say he couldn't cut in practice, right? Yep,
they're saying that he's still working on his cutting right now. So I would think at least 2 to 3 more weeks, if not more. But that's just me. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
You're not, man. You just play one. Just play one on TV. At least if we had
Holiday Inn Express last night.
Yeah, so. At least if we had the number 1 pick, I'm super happy because whatever they do with it, you have something to look forward to. If they take Lawrence, then great. If they get picks, great. Plenty to watch.
You know what? I watched that Clemson game last night. The amount of time that Trevor Lawrence has to sit back there and pick apart, it was Miami. Dude, he's not getting that with the Jets. You throw him into what Sam Darnold has right now, you will ruin this kid. Now, again, next year, it's probably going to be a new coach. You would think you'd be able to find some weapons at some point, whether it's free agency or, with the Seahawks pick or your own second rounder, you find some weapons, hopefully, but we don't know if that's going to happen. So if you throw him into the same thing that you're throwing Sam Darnold into, you're just going to ruin that kid. And I think it's reasonable to expect that he might not want to come here, depending on the head coach that you hire. So I think there's a lot to get to before we even start talking about Trevor Lawrence and him being the next savior for the Jets.
Jets have 0 Pro Bowlers on this roster. That's a fact. I mean, that's –
Yep.
I mean –
No argument for me.
Yeah, your brightest prospect is probably Becton. We tried to give out a glimmer of hope for May after a great first game and Quinnen Williams, and there's nothing, man.
Yep.
How about Robbie Anderson with 8 catches, 118 yards? What's interesting about Robbie Anderson is that when he left and people kept telling us he's not a number 1, he can only run 2 routes, he can't do this, he can't do that, he can't do this. All those people are long gone now, man. We had show after show. Remember all the shows we had? We don't need Robbie. F Robbie. Perriman's better.
He's an upgrade.
Perriman's an upgrade. All those calls, all those tweets, all those things are all long gone. Now everybody misses them. So it's
it disappeared like a fart in the wind.
Dr. Phil, who would you guys want as head coach and why? Okay,
I mean, my preference right now would be Bieniemy, but with any head coach, there still comes the factor that you have to convince that guy to come here. And with the current ownership group, who knows if that head coach wants to work with Joe Douglas? Who knows if, they want to inherit Sam Darnold if you're not picking number 1? There are so many factors to get into about, whether or not this job is going to be desirable come January. It's hard to say, but yeah, I think somebody that's obviously offensive minded, that's, kind of established a young quarterback that knows what it's going to take to have an offense in, the 2020s, not, an offense that's outdated like Adam Gase's. So yeah, Bieniemy would probably be at the top of the list. Or if you could get a guy like Harbaugh, somebody that's established, I think you'd have to go that direction too.
I think you need a very strong organizational guy that has a proven track record, that has respect, has credibility, has a plan, a disciplinarian, a no-nonsense guy with the media, a no-nonsense guy with his players. You gotta change this culture, man. Like you can't have a soft personality here. You need to have a fire and brimstone guy in this place. Be like, you know what? This shit's no longer tolerable.
Yeah, that would be the number one preference, I think. And I think that guy would then be Jim Harbaugh, but I just don't think that guy's coming here. And other than Harbaugh, I don't know the name. Like we touched on Peterson during the week, but even him, I don't think he's leaving Philly. So yeah, I mean, who is that guy? Who's that proven guy, the no-nonsense guy with an established resume that's going to change the culture of the Jets? So I think you're probably looking at, trying to catch lightning in a bottle like the Cardinals did with Kingsbury or, Carolina with Matt Rule, even though
all
we
the
have
guys
in our building. Exactly. You got to catch lightning in a bottle with one of those guys.
You got it. I mean, you have to have a strong personality now in this market because this is years of losing, years of no playoffs, a lot of disappointment, a lot of excuses, a lot of stuff. You need to have a guy that comes in with just like an ass-kicking mentality. That's how you change your culture because your culture, this is so similar to 96 and 97 where the Jets were rock bottom of Kotite, where they were spiraling out of control, and the Jets had to give up all their power, all their prominence to Bill Parcells to change it. We're there again now. We are completely there again. Gase Game is a leader of mice, not men. I mean, you can't say his name right now. I don't want to say his name anymore. I mean,
he's not a leader of anything. He stays to himself. He stays in his play sheet, and that's what he does.
Please name one player Joe brought in that has done anything or isn't injured. This is what we just talked about. Like now we're to the point now where, I mean, we mentioned this over like in the offseason, some of the questions we had about the roster, but now we're to the point where all the low risk, high reward moves that Joe Douglas tried to take are blowing up in his face week in, week out. And all the roster flaws are being exposed. All the journeymen he brought in, all the 1-year deals, all the average guys that aren't playing at their level they should be playing at, probably less.
And it's funny because you brought up Connor Hughes before, and back-to-back tweets that he sent out today. One about the money, right? That ownership had no restrictions on Joe Douglas, right? So I'm looking at that and I'm saying, wait a minute. If Joe Douglas had no restrictions, then he sends out a following tweet that it's way too soon to judge Joe Douglas based off of 1 year and one draft. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. If he legitimately had no restrictions on the money that he could spend this year, and he's sitting on $30 million, didn't want to pay Robbie Anderson, trades Jamal Adams, and signed absolutely nothing, guys that you're talking about getting rid of at the end of the year, what am I missing? Why is it too soon to criticize this guy? He's done nothing at this point. If you're looking long term, maybe if you hit on the draft picks, but we can't even hope on that based off of what we're seeing right now from your current draft class.
If your job as a general manager in a rebuild is to rebuild with talent, and you don't get a year to throw players away. No. Like his year to watch was his first year when he did nothing. He inherited a team. He had an entire year to evaluate. He basically had a redshirt year. He had a redshirt GM year to watch, evaluate talent, and come up with a plan for this year. His plan for this year was to bargain basement shop and take a lot of low risk moves, and it all blew up in his face. Almost every move did.
And not for nothing, if your plan is to rebuild, Jet fans, we're smarter than that. Just come out and say it. To come out here and give all these quotes, that we have, we're going to establish the best culture in sports. If you're not in the business of winning a Super Bowl every year, you shouldn't be in this business. Well, guess what? We're going to remember those things. And to look at this roster right now and say that you did everything you could to set up this team for success, to set up your quarterback for success, to get a true evaluation on what he could do, that's bullshit. You haven't.
When you watch DeAndre Hopkins just torch your team in the fourth quarter, you watch a guy that they traded for, or you watch Stephon Diggs do the same thing up in Buffalo, and I wanted to respond to this one. Douglas gave these guys 1-year contracts for a reason. He did the smart thing by not tying these guys up long-term. No, the smart thing is to get better players then.
No,
the plan can't be, let me get 31-year contracts.
The smart thing, if he only felt comfortable giving out 1-year contracts because maybe he wasn't comfortable with Gase, fine. Then guess what? If you don't feel comfortable, fire him last year.
Yep.
Why go through this where you're setting back your quarterback and half these young guys on your roster? Yep. What was the point of doing this for a year? Is anybody getting better? Is anybody learning from this bullshit that we're watching? No. We wasted a year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. My thing is like, if giving out all these 1-year contracts for guys you're not really sure about, then don't sign them. Get better players. Like, have a higher standard. I don't know.
See, but it seems like he did this to give himself an out in case it didn't work out with Gase. But if you were that much on the fence, why go into the season with that much uncertainty? If you're already on the fence after 1 year, you probably saw all you needed to know that this guy isn't the fucking answer. So get him out.
Where is the accountability? Where's the discipline? Where's the leadership? It's been lacking for a year and a half now. That's the problem. There's none. There is absolutely none. And then they made a big point. Oh, they benched Henry Anderson for one series. He came in the next series and played every down. They're not benching players, man. There's nobody scared of Gase. There's nobody scared of Gase in the locker room. They go in, they collect their check, they do their hard practice for the week, they act like they're motivated, and they go play these games like this, and that's it. There's nothing here. There's nothing like this. Best culture in sports is a joke. This organization's a joke. Like you're not really proud of it, dude. Like there's nothing. Like what do you hang your hat on as a Jets fan right now? Becton. Right?
Even that you can't right now. But hey, best culture. You cut Ogletree, so you made an example out of him. You tout that. I don't know.
Don't see them trading anyone still. Then Gase is still running this team. Remember, he talked Johnson into hiring Douglas. The trade deadline is going to be fascinating, man. The trade deadline is going to be fascinating because it's going to be like, is Gase going to be like, listen, man, you're trading with my guys. I can't compete now. Or, like, how do they handle that, dude? That's going to be fascinating.
Or does Gase still kind of have the upper hand when it comes to making certain personnel decisions like we saw with, Kalen Ballage and some other guys where, he'll be able to push guys out the door if he doesn't want them, even though he might not have a future here. I think that part would be fascinating.
Tyson, Flacco doesn't deserve this shit. He's a champion and would win if he was on the Bears. Like, Flacco doesn't deserve this shit. I don't deserve this shit. You don't deserve this shit. Fans don't deserve this shit. Like, who cares what Flacco deserves? I mean, he came here to rehabilitate and play somewhere else next year. We paid him to rehabilitate and recover and get healthy. That's all we did for him. We did him a favor. Joe Douglas did his buddy a favor. He'll play somewhere else next year. He'll bounce back and go somewhere else and he'll be fine.
You stole the words from me. Flacco doesn't deserve it. Like, dude, we've been watching this for 10 years straight now with nothing. Like, I'm going to stop there.
I know how we solve this. As me as GM and Kevin as coach, I couldn't be GM, man. There is no way I could be GM because this team would be. I'd have everybody cut today. We would have a team. You had the built-in excuse, like I can't play. I have no players on my roster. I cut them all. I'd have 10 seltzers and one drop pass. You're out.
At least Sam would be safe for another few years.
Yeah, I'd give him lineman. Let's see. Can we even say this O-line is improved compared to last year? Left tackle is when he's healthy. If he's healthy.
Out there, yeah. But when he's not out there, it's not much better. I'm
fascinated to see the evaluations. I'm gonna. Brandon Thorne does a lot of offensive line evaluations, and he the one day he went back and forth with us on Twitter, asking questions about the guys. I'm really fascinated to see the evaluations of McGovern because that was a guy we all kind of gave credit. Like it's a really good move, really good move. I mean, Alex Lewis is pedestrian. Greg Van Voten's not good. Fant is kind of he's making $9 million. Well, McGovern, you need to get whoever your quarterback is, you need to anchor at center for the next 5 years. Is McGovern that guy?
Well, I was gonna say he better be because I'm pretty sure his contract is guaranteed for next year at least.
It is, right?
He's gonna be here for at least another year. So better work out.
This one gets brought up a lot. Looking back at Douglas's draft class, I have no idea what he was doing with the lack of receivers drafted.
So for anybody that's new, because I know we've had a lot of new subscribers in the last month or so, just go back to the draft show. It was late May or something like that.
Roasted him. Yep.
Just go back to round 3 and round 4, because that's where every single pick. We were all sitting there, and we were several drinks in at that point. We were all just like, "What the hell are we doing?" Because the first 2 rounds, I don't think anybody really had an issue with. You got an anchor on the offensive line in the first round. And then you traded back, you got some extra picks, and you still pulled off Denzel Mims, a receiver who a lot of people liked in round 2. So, all right, great start. And then what did you do after that? You didn't trade up. Nope. You didn't show, any kind of urgency to move up, get your guy in what was such a talented and stacked wide receiver class, where every week we're seeing a new guy step up over 100 yards. And on top of that, you lost Robbie Anderson. So we all thought, okay, well, you took a chance on Perriman just to replace Robbie, just so you had a veteran. You're going to target receivers in the draft, and not one after Mims.
Well, what we thought was when you kept Robbie Anderson at the trade deadline last year, you're going to re-sign him because either that or you get the draft compensation from like a competent general manager would do, right? That's what we thought. Yeah. Like, oh, you kept him, you didn't trade him, you're going to sign him. Little do we know.
Nope.
Clowns. Zuniga, is that an unknown alien? I mean, at least he was healthy today. I don't think he played, but I mean.
If he did, I didn't notice it. Fit in.
Teddy Bridgewater threw for 300 plus, and Anderson had another touchdown. Listen, I'm happy as hell for Teddy Bridgewater, man. I'm happy that he's flourishing. He's a good guy. He was a great teammate with the Jets. It was never going to work out from here, obviously. But dude, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Matt Rule. I'm happy for Robbie Anderson. Like, I don't have any ill will for any of these people. I mean,
No, not at all.
the Jets could have had Rule. They could have kept Robbie. Hey.
Well, if they would have hired Rule, I'm sure they would have kept Robbie because Robbie wouldn't have wanted to leave. He wanted to play for his college coach, supposedly.
Yep. And this is a common look at Matt in Carolina doing his thing. We could have had him as a coach. Yep.
Damn shame.
Enough with drafting edge guys from Florida, certified bust. I mean, yep. I'm trying to rock out. We have so many comments, dude.
And wide receivers in the second round, although I don't want to put that classification on Mims yet. But
the film. I mean, Gase's press conferences are a joke at this point. I wish, like, what you really need in the media is guys that don't have to worry about getting sources from the Jets and leaks. Guys that have, like, just don't give zero fucks, dude. And be like, you know what? I'm going to ask you the hardest question you've ever been asked. And as a fan, I would subscribe. I would actually pay for that content. If they would ask questions that we were all dying to really ask and really grill the shit out of the coach, I'd actually pay like $5 a month for his content. I'd actually pay for that content.
Is it too late for us to get our credentials back? Because I think we'd ask those questions.
Dude,
if we start up like a GoFundMe or something to get us credentialed again,
we'd be like Jamal Adams. You know, with the Kiwi trying to get in the building, they wouldn't let him in. That'd be us. Our key be deactivated. So,
we wouldn't even get to the front door. They'd have security meeting us right through the drive-thru.
Yeah, he wouldn't. We have to give him like different names. Like, yeah, I'm Rich Samini. Sorry. Henry Anderson is terrible. Yeah, he's a minute disappointment. I liked him too.
What does he have? Like 1 sack since he signed the contract? Something like that.
Man, that's just
No,
such a
I
disappointment.
liked him too. Like for the value, 7th round pick. You're like, great. You know, he was a starting caliber lineman. I didn't think he was worth the money that they gave him, and yeah, it's blown up in their face.
Gase started the copy Kotite and said, you wouldn't think we were 0-5 by the way we practice. Made me furious. And I was going to do a video about this, but I didn't have time because I was going to blow a complete gasket because that was it. It was a hard week of practice. We're not going to leave it all. We're going to leave it all on the field this week. We're going to it was the same exact verbiage, man. Yeah. And then they asked Gase, they said, how do you give a glimmer of hope to the fans? Well, you got to see these guys in practice. No, dude, we watch them on game day, you jackass. I don't give a fuck about the practice field. And then that's the case. If they're practicing so well in practice, then why isn't it translating? And that should have been the follow-up question. Okay, listen, if you guys look so great in practice, well, first of all, you're going against a defense that can't stop anybody, right? But then it's like, why isn't it translating, coach? Is that on you then for not getting the most out of your players? That's an easy follow-up question for him. Buffoon.
It's unbelievable.
I'm starting to think, man. I'm starting to change my mind. I think we should live stream a game, dude. I think we'd either gain a ton of subscribers or we'd lose all of them. Because could you imagine?
I think we'd probably lose half and then we'd gain them all right back in the post game.
Could you imagine our reactions on that 3rd and 1, 4th and 1? You'd probably saw my screen shake a little bit. You'd saw beer can go flying past the screen.
My screen would shatter.
Oh
God.
2nd and 26, we run, and then on 3rd and 27, we throw. Gase shouldn't coach Pop Warner. That 2nd and 26 running play to Gore was ridiculous. That was like a quit play. So I'm like, all right, I expected a running play, a draw play on 3rd and 26 or whatever it was. I'm like, oh, he's going to do a draw play here. Then he goes back and throws it.
See, the thing is, like other teams, when they run the ball on 2nd and 26 in long plays like that, they actually gain, like 10, 12 yards and they make it a manageable 3rd down, but we can't even do that. So
I don't know if this is true or not. Dan Quinn was fired just now?
Really?
Dan Quinn? All right, let's look at this. That's true. Meatball Parm, we're going to thank you for that. He should have been fired because they
yes, I think he was. Yeah. Yep, he was.
Well, at least one organization has a clue.
No, that's 2 organizations.
Yeah, Texans in.
Yep. Unbelievable. And that guy went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, they choked. But yeah, I mean, thank you for that, Meatball Parm, because I had absolutely no idea. I can't even really see my TV because the lights are too bright, so I can't even see it. Oh, my goodness. What is this guy for real?
Oh, no.
Can we cut Lamar Jackson? No one is talking about him. Dude, single-handedly gave the Cardinals 100 yards of offense. First of all, he's a young player who was thrown against one of the best receivers in all of football. And that touchdown, he actually had very good coverage. If you think Lamar Jackson's the problem on this team, like you should be cutting Pierre Desir first. First of all, that's insane.
The fact that they even felt comfortable having Lamar Jackson on DeAndre Hopkins, to me says, you know what, they actually see something in this kid. So you know what? This is an evaluative game. You want to get these young kids some opportunities. To me, that's great experience for him to be able to go up against Hopkins. Like you said, even on the touchdown, Ashton Davis should have been over there for some help. He was late. He had some good coverage there. So no, I'm not blaming him for everything.
Actually, you know what? You don't mind those young, like that scenario, like Lamar Jackson, Ashton Davis, both getting that experience, trying to learn and competing for it. Cool. Yeah. I'd rather see that than Bradley McDougald and Pierre Desir play like dog shit. Yep. I'd rather lose young. Yep. Like, you know what I mean? Like lose with young players on the field. What is wrong with Chris Herndon? I honestly have no idea. I don't know if he's lingering injuries. He's not himself. Is he pulling a Ryan Griffin? I'm not ever going to return to my normal health. Is he just demoralized? Is he just a bad player? What is he, man?
Dude, it's really hard to figure out because, him, like a lot of other guys that we talk about, Le'Veon Bell and Darnold, before Adam Gase got here, we had pretty high expectations for Herndon. His rookie year, I think it was like 39 catches, and he was stretching the field, made some big plays. And then last year, you didn't see him at all. He had the suspension, then he got hurt. And, in training camp this year, we were hearing a lot of the same things that we heard, the first 2 years, especially in training camp, where he was like the go-to guy. He was, developing nice chemistry with Sam. And now all of a sudden he's dropping balls left and right. He had the almost fumble, which I thought was a fumble still. So, yeah, he has not looked good at all. And it's hard to figure out what the issue is. I don't know if he's hurt or what.
Where is the accountability for Joe Douglas? All of draft picks are made out of clay or glass. Give me a break. Listen, man, I'm here for the Joe Douglas scrutiny because we're looking to rebuild this and find building blocks for the future. And right now, there's not many on this team. A good coach, obviously a good coach, you maximize the talent so you can get more out of like lesser guys, which is always fine, which we're definitely not doing that this year either. But you can make a case. In theory, as of right now, in your opinion, how many offensive line do the Jets need next year?
At least 3. McGovern's going to be here and Becton's going to be here. So the other 3 spots right now, have you seen anything to say, you know what, Fant should definitely be your guy at right tackle? I think he's played better than what you expected, but for the money that you're paying him, nope. I don't know about that. And then, Lewis and Ben Roten, I think you're probably making changes there too.
So after this is Joe Douglas's first true year of rebuilding, right? So now we're going to say after 1 year, we're going to need 3 offensive linemen. We're going to need 2 receivers and 2 running backs and probably 2 tight ends. Good job, man.
Not to mention a pass rusher and corners.
Way to go, Chief. You could easily put Gase's post-game show for every game, and you wouldn't know the difference because all the same BS excuses. Adam Gase is a used car salesman, man. He's a used car salesman for lemons. He sells like shitty cars, and he tries selling them because he's just bad, man. He's just. I was going off his hands today again. I'm so pissed, dude. Like I can't take losing.
I was just gonna say, Chris Johnson. He's willingly buying it. So.
Oh my goodness, man. How you feeling, prime time? All right?
The booze is kicking in. Feel good.
Oh, here we go. I was waiting for this. And for some reason, man, the last week and a half, I have a group of people that have decided to continuously attack me on YouTube now and on Twitter.
What?
I don't know. And the things they attack me for, I'm almost convinced I don't say. But, we do hours and hours of these videos. I'm sure at one point these comments may come out. But here we go.
I remember everything you say, so.
Flacco played better than Darnold ever did. No turnovers, no up for grab throws. He could read the defense. He was in command. Do we watch the same game?
Wait,
Are
what?
we watching what? I've had a few cocktails here, but I'm pretty sure I watched this drubbing, and I don't think. Flacco made some nice throws, but
I thought Flacco played a very similar game to what we've seen from Darnold, where he made a couple of very nice throws, the flashes that we've been talking about every single week. A couple other moments where you're like, what the hell was that? Wide receiver wide open. He missed him or threw the ball over his head. But yeah, he didn't turn the ball over. Sam had 2 games where he didn't turn the ball over. It was a lot of, I feel like, what we've seen already.
We're not even commenting to these now. This is just, I can't even fathom that. Let's see. This was a good comment too that I wanted to get to, and our screen just updated. So hold on 1 second here, prime time. Yep. We're getting to the Flacco. We got so many comments here, dude. I don't even know how to even keep up with this stuff. There's got to be an easier way to do this, but it's not smart enough for it. So hold on. There's something about the strength. Yeah, that's my. Thank God I got a lot of them over here to keep me going.
God.
It was a comment about the Daniel Jones just fumbled again. Ja'Kai Polite is lighting it up in L.A.
Is he really? Unbelievable.
There was a comment. I'm sorry. It was about the strength and conditioning coach, and it was dead right. It was because Gase fired the guy.
Yeah.
Like they made a comment on TV talking about, oh, the Jets are so unfortunate with injuries this year and last year. And in between this offseason, they actually fired a guy that was so reputable that all the players liked.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of the Jets' longtime personnel guys. As far as him dealing with injuries, he'd been there for I think like at least 15 years or something like that. And yeah, they fire him, bring in a whole new staff, same problem, if not worse. So what's the one common theme?
This is it. I think we could win the practice Super Bowl this year. Gase is going to get a 10-year extension. Listen, we have the best practice team in football. That's what we have.
Yeah, by far.
Just ask Gase.
Yeah, if there was a practice Super Bowl, by far, money would be on the Jets. We'd be there.
Josh McDaniels is the guy we need. Owner needs the money up. Never in a million years is that going to happen. He will never come here. No, he will never disrespect Belichick like that, first of all. And then you got to worry about him backing out like 35 different times too, like he always does. He'll never come here. Never in a million years.
It's funny because Belichick saw this 20 years ago.
Yep.
And nothing.
Take my money now for the credentials.
There we go.
Dude, I can tell you right now, I can assure you that we are nowhere near that facility because they hate everything we're doing right now. We are on every ban list. They hate us by name. They have our name on list right now. They hate us so much.
We'll get back in the good graces. I'll send them a card.
When they fire the whole regime, including owners, that's when we'll get. When Gary Vee takes over, we'll get back in.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Long ways away.
Gotta watch the film. Does Gase watch the film?
See, even that though, like it still bothers me because, like we talked about, what are you saying to the players when they ask you what their responsibility was on a certain play or what went wrong? Like, if you're not able to coach these guys up or at least explain what went wrong on a certain play after the game, then clearly you're not able to make adjustments in game, and that's part of the problem. And we've seen it for 21 games now that you've been a head coach of the New York Jets. When have we seen the in-game adjustments? We haven't. It's been the same shit from the first quarter to the last quarter. If not,
and the players got to see it too. Yep. And it was an interesting comment Jordan Jenkins made too. He was like, or Gase said, he said he never saw so many players that actively want to see changes made. What does that tell you, man? Wow. Like that says your team understands things aren't being done right, and they're trying to help you make fix your own mess.
Yep.
Dolphins up 27-7 on 49ers and just picked Jimmy G. Wonderful.
Wow.
Well, the Dolphins keep winning. Yeah, I can't see any of the scores right now, so I couldn't even tell. Is this a players' league? So why is Adam Gase is the blame? Well, if you can't lead your players or coach your players, how are they supposed to flourish?
Who said it's a players' league? I thought it's a coaching league, to be honest.
It's a passing league, but yeah, I mean. Oh, here we go. This is only a matter of time for this to happen. Le'Veon Bell is pissed, is liking tweets saying the Jets don't get him involved at all when they stress he needs more targets. This Gase Bell marriage is never going to work. This is so obvious. I mean,
and that is why I do not trade him at the deadline, because we have only seen him in a Jets uniform with Adam Gase coaching this team. So the guy that he was before coming to Adam Gase was a guy that most people agreed was on a path to the Hall of Fame. So why wouldn't we want that guy in a Jet uniform next year helping out Sam?
See, now the whole Dan Quinn thing is fascinating because how do you sell this fan base accountability or any kind of stuff when two teams now that are underachieving have fired their coaches and we're worse than both of them, right? We're worse than both of those teams, easily worse than both of them, and they fired their coaches.
Not only are we worse than both of those teams, Adam Gase is far less reputable than either of those guys. Bill O'Brien has won 4 of 6 division titles. Dan Quinn has been to a Super Bowl. What has Adam Gase done in his career?
All right, prime time. Yes, please live stream the game. I'll pay for it. But we won't take money unless you want to send us beer or something. I'm not taking any money for anything. But could you imagine me and you 3 hours watching like Jets Dolphins? What could possibly go wrong with that?
You want to do it?
I could think about it. I mean, that'd be hysterical, dude. You know how many beers I'd go through? I mean, you know what the thing is? We'd have to like kind of keep it in cups. Like these guys are alcoholics, man. How many beers they drinking watching this shit? Could you imagine?
We should actually make like a bingo card to drink during the game. So like second and long run, we drink. Third and long penalty, we drink.
Yeah, we do a community thing. Like every third one we don't get, we all do we all take a big chug.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God, this is another one. Live play-by-play. Could you imagine, dude? I couldn't even imagine 3 hours of you. Another one. Look at this. Please live stream the game. I couldn't even, dude. Oh my goodness.
That'd be interesting.
You must build before you rebuild. What are we building? Where's our building blocks right now? Who is it? You build, I guess your foundation is going to be your front office and your coach, and then you go that way. I guess then it starts with ownership, actually. Ownership's not working. The front office is an unknown, and your coach is going to be gone.
What I just don't get about the build before rebuild and starting a whole nother rebuild or whatever else is, like I've continued to say, when you have a quarterback on his rookie contract, that's not the time to do it. That's the time where you're spending money and trying to establish, certain pieces, build a foundation around that quarterback, because you take advantage of those years where you're not paying him big money. And instead, we've done the opposite. We've thrown pieces out the door, we've traded away pieces. And, I can understand Joe Douglas wanting to do it his way to a certain extent, but he also took the job, at least he said he did, because he had a quarterback in place. So he hasn't acted like it. At least the moves haven't really dictated that.
This is an interesting comment that we get asked a lot is Johnson's need to dip into those billions and go get Lincoln Riley, whatever it takes. It's usually Lincoln Riley, David Shaw, Brian Kelly, all these big prominent college coaches. Would you feel confident giving that? Because like you get any of these guys in your building, they're going to want 6 years, $9 million a year, all kinds of power, all kinds of control. Would you feel comfortable doing that?
I think so. If you identify that guy and that's what it takes to get them, yeah. I mean, we're talking about Matt Rule and Kingsbury as guys that we should have hired from the college.
And he's the blueprint, dude. Because look what he did when he went there. He got what? How long was his contract? It was absurd. It was really, I forget. It was like 6 years or 8 years.
I think it was 8 years. It might have been 8 years.
Yeah,
for 60-something million, I think. Yeah. So
that's your starting point.
Yep.
If you want these guys that everybody keeps talking about, you want to lure them out of college and come to this dumpster fire of an organization. And the Jets notoriously don't pay coaches. They haven't paid anybody since Parcells.
No.
What's up, Jay Rosado? Thanks for joining us, man. You missed a good hour of our chaos already. Live streams of you watching the games would go viral. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing. That's the problem, though.
That'd be a bad thing.
Oh, yeah. Look, another one. I would 100% listen to this while I watch the game. I don't know, man. I get mad as hell, dude. I say all kinds of crazy shit.
See, today I was beyond the point of getting mad, except when they were pumping in that ridiculous crowd.
That 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, I blew a gasket. The 2nd and whatever the hell it was, running play, 2nd and 27 running play. The Chris Herndon drop. Dude, I was the challenge play. You mentioned the challenge play? Dude, all you would see is this screen go start shaking. You see one of these go flying across the TV. It would be bad, man.
It's nothing that I don't expect at this point. So it's hard to keep getting mad. It's not like we're playing meaningful games. It sucks.
You say that, but dude, when that happens, you don't get that little bit of rage, especially when listen, we all want to go 0-16. You want to get the number 1 pick or anything else, but when the game is 17-10, or you say, we can get back in this game. This can actually be a competitive, fun game. Maybe we have a chance to make this interesting.
So we can pat ourselves on the back for Joe Flacco getting a win to see.
No, but I don't even. My mindset isn't even like that. During the game, when it's actually happening, I'm rooting for smart plays. You want to see some kind of keep us just competitive.
Yeah, if it's young guys making plays, sure, I'm all about it. When Joe Flacco's out there leading the offense, I'm sorry. When he's handing the ball off to Frank Gore, what does that do for the future of the Jets? Anything that's going to save Adam Gase's job to this point, I'm sorry, I can't root for it, because what's in the best interest of the Jets long term is getting Adam Gase out of here as soon as possible.
Okay, now we've got – this is getting interesting now. Now our good friend Ryan Barger has said, if you and Kevin do a live stream, I will supply the alcohol. Jesus Christ, man.
I think we have to now.
This is going to be a disaster. There's no way Jets Dolphins with us. I mean, how does it even work? So what did we have the game on in the background?
Yeah.
So we can't show, and then we just comment on the plays?
Yeah. I think we'd have to mute it. Otherwise, I'm sure the NFL would find a way to fuck with us, but yeah.
I mean, talk about it. I mean, what the hell? They look good in practice because they're practicing against the worst team in the NFL. That's fair. I mean, we joked about that. Your offense looks good, but your defense can't cover anybody. The best practice team in football.
I was gonna say, how does anybody get better? Both sides of the ball are trash. So even when one side shines, I mean, look who they're going against.
We got to watch the film. We got to fix things. We got to do better. Yep, that's our weekly mantra now. A lot of Chris Herndon. Chargers -8 at home, easy money.
Against
your thoughts, Mr. Primetime?
Against
us? We're there.
Well, next week was supposed to be the Charger game.
Yeah, we're the Dolphins.
Playing Miami now. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Miami here or there? I didn't look at the schedule. What is it?
I thought it was here. I'm not sure though. Check it
out. At least Ashton Davis didn't almost end his career trying to hurdle someone. At least he's on the field, man. I mean, you got to find what he is, because right now, I'm not really sure. What do you do at Marcus May, Kevin? He's not having a very impactful year. What do you do with a contract with him? What do you you hope another coach gets something out of him? You let him test free agency? Like, what do you do with him now?
I think it's going to depend on how much he's asking for. I mean, I thought he was a good piece. I thought he was a starting caliber safety. But yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of other guys, he needs more talent around him. And we've seen a number of guys that played very well last year with pieces around them, kind of take a step back this year, whether it's Jordan Jenkins, Brian Poole. I feel like a lot of these guys that, had some upside, they've just all kind of gone in the tank this year.
Ryan Griffin, another.
I'll just say real quick, Jets at Miami, week 6. So yeah, at Miami.
All right, road game.
Yep.
Ryan Griffin, another great signing by Joe Douglas. I mean, he doubled down on him, and after the injury, he's been a shell of himself, man. He's not even impact at all. Like you would think, like usually the tight end position is like a safety valve for guys where you get the, like you can get the middle of the field kind of opened up a little bit, play action pass down the side. Nothing, man. It's
at this point, I just want to see Trayvon Wesco out there. Let's see what we got in him. So,
and I mean, you fired Dan Quinn, dude. Like 2 coaches have been fired now. Like if somebody had to tell you that 2 coaches in the NFL were fired, we would all assume Adam Gase would have to be one of them, right?
You would think, but no. When your owner decides he's going to open his goddamn mouth after the first game of the year, well, that kind of prevents you from doing that.
Imagine how bad Jet fans' hangovers are collectively every Monday. I tell you what, dude, if you guys want us to do a live stream, we're all going to have some serious hangovers. We're going to do drinking games on here. We'll do every 3rd and 1 we don't get. We all got to drink. Every, blown call, stupid play. We'll just make this a disaster.
Could you imagine what we'd be like at the post game?
Oh, yeah. That post game show would be a mess, man. I don't know what we would.
Would we make it to a post game? I don't even know.
Let's see. At least my fantasy team did well today. Something to cheer about for me. Dude, I had the hardest time with my fantasy team because I had Stephon Diggs. And I'm like, are they playing Tuesday night? Are they not playing them? And then if you don't, say they don't play because of the whole changing up with COVID, I'm like, then you can't take a 0 with your receivers. So I had to play somebody else out of fear of them them canceling the game. Fantasy football is a mess right now. Not that it really matters, but it's just.
At least I don't mess with fantasy.
Oh, man.
I do the daily fantasy.
Only winless teams right now: Falcons, Jets, and Giants. And Giants may win today. So bright spot is we could get the number 1 pick. So keep Gase. I mean, you can. Go ahead, Kevin.
Again, you still have 11 games left. So if Sam's going to be coming back, let's say in another 2 weeks or so, the idea of throwing away 9 games where he could be getting better with a different voice in his ear, I don't know. To me, that just doesn't make any sense.
Why do we completely ignore Bell in the receiving game? I'll never understand that. I don't understand how they use Bell at all. I don't. It's just they don't get along. Like Gase and Bell just don't get along. Like he's that arrogant of a guy that he just never going to use him the way we all think he should. So.
And we saw what he could do in the passing game week 1. I mean, he was a monster in that first half until he got hurt.
I'm sure Clark is going to replace one of the guards. I'd hope so. I mean, that's what he's here for.
He's got to replace Van Roten once he's ready to go. There's no reason for that not to happen.
Why'd they release Jonathan Harrison? He was actually decent.
Very good question. Very good question.
Are you guys shocked Dan Quinn got fired? No, he should have been fired. He should have been fired last week. They continuously just self-destruct every time. They have way too much talent to be that bad. I mean, they're not well coached. They're not. Right? You're not surprised, are you?
No, not at all. And yeah, I'm just seeing the tweets right now that Le'Veon Bell's liking.
Did you see it? What is he liking?
2 tweets. One that says Le'Veon Bell had 1 target in the passing game today, the same amount as Trayvon Wesco. Jeff Smith had 11, so he liked that one. And then he liked another one saying the Jets stressed the need to involve in the passing game this season, had 1 catch on 1 target for 7 yards.
Oh, man. I can't take losing from a Jets fan. Listen, man, this last, decade has been brutal, man. This has been a brutal decade to be a Jets fan. There's nothing, I mean, you realize we are hiring another recycled head coach with the same outdated concepts as the others we have run through here. I hope not. I mean, supposedly Gase is supposed to be an innovative. He was where football was going, according to our owner. But I think at this point, if you have any confidence in Joe Douglas and his staff, that mindset is changing where they know they have – you're guessing they have a list already of guys they like, right? Like they probably like a little blue, like, all right, here's 5 guys we're definitely interested in. If it's a college guy, you put feelers out now to kind of see if they're even interested in coming to the pros, right?
You would hope so. But again, I just don't know how attractive or appealing this job's really going to be to anybody with the current ownership group and the state of the team right now. I mean, again, you have some draft picks and you have some money to work with, but when you've been literally the laughing stock of the league for the last 10 years, you're pretty much worse than the Browns right now. It's going to take a lot of convincing to bring a prominent head coach here.
We got a problem, primetime. Live stream, yes. I'm in for the live booze game.
Oh, shit.
Let's see. Who's the worst head coach, Gase or Bowles? Gase.
Gase, by far.
Yeah. I don't think it's hard for him.
At the very least, I think a majority of the locker room respected Bowles. You saw competitive games. Yes, the team pretty much melted down all the time in the fourth quarter. There were still some accountability issues, a lot of things that we still talk about with Gase, but you weren't seeing the double-digit losses like we're seeing now. Just complete lack of any kind of competence at all. So, yeah, by far it's Gase.
Here's Shaq. Please stream the game because Shaq just wants to troll us. Good question here. Why draft P. Ryan and not use him? I don't understand. I do not understand how the Jets handle the running backs. And you could actually have P. Ryan and Bell in the game at the same time. You have two good receivers out of the backfield. Use them up, change it up. I don't.
It doesn't make any sense.
What the F happened to Herndon? I expected so much. We all did. He's supposed to be the X factor, right? The X factor in the offense, and it's been a complete disaster. He's actually gotten worse to the point where he's relegated to only passing situations now. He's not even a 3-down tight end anymore.
I know. And at the end of that rookie year, I mean, he was even improving his blocking. He was stretching the field a little bit, making some big plays. It's just crazy to see how far he's gone downhill in such a short time.
Do a couple more. How does Chris Johnson respond after 2 0-5 teams practically fire their head coach and Gase is still here? There's no answer. There's no answer for this.
And that's why Joe Douglas needs to step the hell up. He's got to say something. He can't just keep hiding and, kind of staying in the dark with all this stuff. We know what ownership is. We know they don't know their ass from their elbows. They're not going to change anything. They've been on record as supporting Gase. Joe Douglas is the one guy that can still potentially change some things around here, but he's got to step up and do it.
Jets' problems start from the top. If that issue is solved, then things will change. Well, the Jets' problems start with ownership. That's where the problems start. And now you look at this and you question, does his front office know what the hell they're doing? Or does Gase have too much say in personnel? Either way, it's a problem. Then your problem goes down to coaching. The entire staff has to get blown out. Then your problem is you don't have enough talent. There's 4 layers of problems here.
What a disaster.
Oh, my. Oh, here we go. Have a keg party, live stream the game for the charity of your choice. Could you imagine? I mean, this get Joe Brady for OC. Joe Brady's going to be a head coach. He's not going to be an offensive coordinator. He's going to be a head coach sometime. He's going to be the next hot name going around now. Let's see. How many more you want to do, prime time?
Oh, any questions that are good, bring them on.
I just want to be happy as a Jets fan. Yeah.
You'll be waiting a while.
Let's see. It would be more entertaining than watching this garbage team. Why is this so hard for ownership to see that this team quit on Gase? I mean, one of your biggest fears, I was thinking about this 2 ways, where it was when Flacco was starting to play a little bit better and they're getting back in the game, I'm like, this could be a bad thing because then it's this team's not, Flacco came in, they got a spark, now they're playing for Gase, and now Gase can come out in the press conference we figured some things out. I started worrying about that a little bit. You didn't figure anything out, man. You didn't, but that didn't work out either. So,
and it still took them a full half before they started doing anything. So
this shit drove me insane. We talked about this about an hour and a half ago. When you're sitting there and Joe Flacco's under center and they're doing jet chants, and the best thing was they're so lost that when towards the end of the game, in the middle of fourth quarter, the Jets dropped passes and there was cheering in the background. I'm like, what are you doing? This just
they're pro tank. They're rooting for the loss, dude. I don't know.
There wasn't much to be angry about today, just flat. I mean, there was.
That's how I felt. Yep.
Not me, dude. That 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 sequence drove me crazy. 2nd and 26 running play. The challenge, you mean to tell me, primetime, when they challenged that play and his foot was out of bounds, you weren't pissed?
I'm pissed that we have an incompetent head coach. Am I pissed that we're seeing these things? No, because I want to lose. Winning does nothing to help this organization right now. What would a win today have done? To listen to Adam Gase pat himself on the back for making adjustments and Flacco doing a great job, what does that do for the Jets going forward? It doesn't do anything. And I hate having that mindset, but it's reality, unfortunately.
But I hate walking around knowing my team's incompetent. I hate you're look
but
at
they
this
are.
team.
But they are. I mean, we're the worst team in football. So expecting anything less, not expecting those things to happen, some of those mistakes, the delay game penalty, I expect those things.
Would rather have an interim head coach than lose games, but at least put up points instead of watching this boring Gase team with players who don't want to play hard for him. I mean, that's
how could it get any worse?
I mean, you don't mind losing 35-31 in a good game where there's young players making plays, and have all those exciting things. But when your two prominent players are Flacco and Gore, I mean, it's just a disgrace.
And that's why I had no emotion. I mean, if you're going to win with young players, that's one thing. But when you're winning with veterans like that, or if you're going to win with veterans like that, to me, it serves no purpose.
Tank for Tua. Oh, wait, that was last year. Dolphins looking good, dude. I'm scared. Like, let's see. If you're hesitant to do a live stream, how about an edited live to tape? No, we don't edit, man. We don't have time to edit. There's no way in hell we would do that. We just what you see is what you get, man.
Yep.
So if you see, like I said, I throw things, so you'll see things. I'm like, what are you kidding me? It'll be like that. I just put something just now. So,
I think we have to do it now.
I will super chat $10. I just spilled my last drink too. I gotta go more now. You gotta be kidding me. The fake Jets chant being pumped in was annoying. We would not be doing that. It would be all boots, especially on offense. Like Jet fans, like if anything, Jet fans are intelligent. I mean, the crowd noise wasn't even believable. I'm like, first of all, if we're trying to be any kind of realistic here, the stadium would be about 18,000 fans, half them booing everything that was going on. It wasn't remotely like
do they not realize like what the Jet chant is supposed to be about? Like when we do it, like usually after a score, after usually when the defense is on field to get the defense chants going, things like that. When the offense is on the field, when Flacco's running up to the line of scrimmage, dude, that's when quarterbacks are going, hands down. You be quiet.
Bell actually looked good. I just hate him in 1 yard or less situations. That's not the time to be extremely patient behind the line. That's time you actually use Frank Gore because Frank Gore's a little bowling ball back there. That's the one thing. He gets like a head full of steam. He'll go like 3 or 4 yards and he falls down. That's the 1 yard you want to get. That's him, not Wesco.
Yeah, short yardage situations, and then the one play on the pass block where he kind of got bowled over and took the holding call. I mean, that was really it as far as like the negative plays from Bell. Otherwise, I thought he looked pretty good. And yeah, I had the same questions about why they didn't use him more in the passing game.
Is there a chance we'll see James Morgan this year? Probably not, unfortunately. No. I think once Sam comes back, he'll be the one. Then Flack will be behind him. Yeah. There's a good comment. You would need to have the people sync it with their game somehow. Otherwise, your comments would be spoiling shit or far behind. I can't. That's way out of my brain cells there.
I wouldn't know how to do that either.
Live streaming the game would be more entertaining than the actual game. Oh, man. Do the live stream. We need a reason to watch this crap, and that would definitely be it. Dude, we may have to try to see what happens. That's a long time to be on a computer, man. It's 3 hours.
I can't imagine how drunk we'd be at the end of that.
We'd be plastered.
I'm usually plastered at the end of this.
Do the live stream. It's just great. I'd rather watch you guys roast than watch the Jets embarrass themselves. Let's see. Here's one. Do not extend Marcus May. That's fascinating because after week one, everybody's like, he's playing so great. He could, like, and I said it, he looked like he was replacing Jamal Adams. Like he was all over the place making plays. And I don't know, is that more of an indictment of how they're using McDougal now and putting Marcus May in the role he was in last year? Or did they switch something up?
I think it's probably a combination of a lot of things, but what I think could be happening right now, which could benefit the Jets, is that he kind of has somewhat of a down year, and you get him at that bargain that you got, guys like Poole and Jordan Jenkins that last year where they signed for contracts that, we didn't think were going to happen, $3.5 million. You can get Marcus May around that range or even a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's probably worth it in a passing league without any pieces really on defense right now.
Spilled my drink, man. Spilled it everywhere.
Rookie move.
Hey, what a disaster. This is good.
I remember my first Truly.
This is my first one. I got news for you. You guys can do a commentary track. The NFL can't stop you. Maybe you guys should do like a mystery science theater, making snarky comments. Snarky comments wouldn't be a problem. I can assure you that. Let's see. We broke an NFL record by punting the ball 4th and 1 in 1 quarter.
What a shame.
I hate the way Gase is like ultra conservative, man. He gets so ultra conservative.
And you're 0-4. What the fuck do you have? What do you have to lose?
Nothing. Let's see. John Franklin Myers looked good, then got hurt. Yep, that kind of sums up the year, kindly.
Yep.
Let's see what else we got here. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, we got a lot of message about C.J. Mosley over the last couple days. I don't know what you do with C.J. Mosley because the money he's getting next year. Now he's 2 years removed from playing in a rebuild. In theory, do you want a high-priced middle linebacker? Would he even have any value? I don't know if he is his contract even tradable at that point?
I was gonna say, I don't even think you could trade him for the money that he's gonna be making next year, because not playing this year, I'm not positive about this, but I'm pretty sure the money he was supposed to make this year is gonna be his contract and his salary for next year, which is somewhere I think around like $17 to $19 million in that range. So to think that a team's gonna take him on after an injury and then sitting out this year, probably not gonna happen. And again, you still need players. So I still think he's a talented player, and you probably need that on defense. And it's not like you're spending a whole lot of money elsewhere. You're going to have some extra draft picks. So that's how Joe Douglas supposedly wants to build his team. He's got to hit on draft picks. That's what we need. We got to build through the draft.
Is Bell worth a third rounder on this fact contract? I hate the way Gase wastes his talent.
Nope.
I don't think you're in a third rounder, man. You play like a fifth rounder, right?
I'm still not taking it.
I'm saying what would be the max offer they get?
I don't think a team would give up more than a fourth. But yeah, for me at least, when we've been talking, we've been talking about no playmakers at all. You've got a guy in Le'Veon Bell that with the right coaching staff, the right scheme, he should be a playmaker. So the idea of trading him for, pennies on the dollar and just getting a fourth round pick back or something like that, it wouldn't be worth it.
Okay. Let's say Adam Gase gets fired today. The freaking players who, by the way, block and tackle are freaking still there, right? Yes, but you also get much better effort. There is some legitimate effort lacking. There's no passion. There's no pride. There's no innovative play calling.
Well, the players don't believe in Adam Gase. They don't believe in him. They don't respect him. They know they're going out there and they don't have a chance, so they're making business decisions. That's normal to expect that. Guys are going to mail it in.
You're holding somebody accountable for failing. I mean, do you guys think, as I do, that if the Jets win a couple games, Gase is coming back? I really think it'll take a total disaster of 0-16 to get him fired. And even then, I don't think so. I think he's gone. I think he's a dead man walking. 2 wins don't mean shit. I mean, he had friends in the media kind of protecting him and holding back. Even they're unloading on him now. Like, he's got no more allies anywhere, man.
Again, if it wasn't for the fact that we're talking about the New York Jets, I would say for any other team, based off of the results that we've seen, yes, Adam Gase would be so far out the door. But the fact that he still hasn't been hired yet, there's questions about who kind of makes the say in certain personnel decisions, whether or not Joe Douglas actually likes Adam Gase or not. Again, Gase brought him in, so they might still be buddy and want to work this thing out together. There's a lot of questions, and again, it should be black and white. Gase should be out the door. We all see that. He should have been gone a long time ago. But whether or not it actually happens, until it happens, I'm worried that it won't.
This is an excellent message that we got. And I forgot all about this, and it pissed me off when I saw it. Does the Sam Darnold rumor upset you, considering JD wouldn't leak that story? It makes no sense to make the decision unless Gase knows he's coming back next year. When was the last time you saw Adam Schefter tweet something like that out? I was shocked, dude. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, how does this even happen in week 5? Right?
That they couldn't get more than a first rounder for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wasn't that surprising? Like, out of nowhere that came up, right?
I was going to say, you wonder where that comes from.
That's just, it's just the handling of him is it's just mind-numbing at this point. The one thing that Gase does, and I guess apparently Joe Douglas does the same thing, especially with Jamal Adams thing, they play the media game, man. They leak their stories, they push their agenda, they push their narrative. Some people buy it, some people don't. But good luck with that with our fan base, man, because we can see through most of their bullshit.
Yep.
I forgot all about that. It pissed me off when I saw it. I'm like, wait, is this for real? Like, we're talking about Sam Darnold competition in week 5? And like Adam Schefter doing it?
Yep. What a joke.
All right, we'll do a couple more. Let's see what we got here. Ian Rappaport got suspended. That was crazy for his Manscaped thing. This team is a joke. No, we can't argue with that. Let's see. Darnold needs to talk to Tannehill. Darnold has talent, but the Jets are unstable. 2 different coaches and an OC in 3 years. No weapons on offense. Jets really suck.
Again, how many guys, not just Tannehill, but Kenyon Drake, who we saw today, Jarvis Landry, Gesicki, Devontae Parker. Once Gase leaves somewhere, it seems like these guys start to reach their potential. And so even guys like Herndon, who have kind of gone in the tank, even though it's nothing to do with Gase, I don't think he's just dropping balls. You still wonder, like, if he had more targets, if he was used a different way, if maybe we'd be talking about him in a different light. So I think a lot of these guys, just the Gase system doesn't do anything to elevate anybody.
People want to fire Joe Douglas already. Smarten up. Okay, we didn't say fire him, but we're holding him accountable. We're saying he had an offseason to start rebuilding this team. And right now, most of his moves are being questioned because they're not panning out. So if you're grading him, it's not a positive grade. And if you can get, like you said before, If you can get a prominent, powerful dude in here that says, listen, whoever that person may be, Lincoln Riley or Jim Harbaugh or one of these guys, say Doug Peterson, whoever, a prominent, proven NFL coach has already won something in the NFL, they want more say in personnel and stuff like that, and Joe Douglas says, I don't want to do that. Dude, this is a rebuild, man. This is a true rebuild. We're at rock bottom right now. All things are on the table. There is nobody safe, in my opinion, here.
Nobody wants to fire him right now on the spot, but
You question the shit out of him.
Exactly. It's hard not to question half the moves, more than half of the moves that he made this offseason, because the team has absolutely gotten worse. And even with all these bad moves, you give him a break on some things with the injuries, but the one thing you can't excuse him for is aligning himself with Adam Gase. It's something I mention every single time we do a goddamn show. That's the one thing I can't excuse, because if he's all about culture, if he's all about changing the culture here, and that's his big thing, well, guess what? Adam Gase is not a culture guy. He's not a guy that players respect, and you continue to align yourself with him and tout him and not separate yourself from him. So we're going to say that, you know what, either Gase has too much power, or you're afraid to overstep him, or you're grateful that he brought you in. You're not going to throw him under the bus, or whatever the issue is. You haven't done enough to separate from it and say, you know what, I'm not going to align myself with that kind of culture.
Yep. How low you think the Jets fan confidence is right now? I mean, we hate everything. We're rock bottom. We hate everything. We hate everything. We question everything. We want things blown up. We're tired of losing. I mean,
can't be any lower.
Dowell Loggins got his moment of fame with this challenge. What a disgrace. What an absolute disgrace.
It's one job.
One job. Can't do that right. The guy clearly slipped out of bounds. And then it makes you wonder, like, who's the guy upstairs in the booth, like, telling him, yeah, challenge that play? Or they just kind of panic and just throw it out there. What a waste of a timeout.
Yep.
Ownership should not be involved in any of the football decisions. 1,000% agree. They have no idea what they're doing.
Yep.
Make Tyson the tight ends coach. We need some motivation. What the hell am I going to do with them? I want to cut everybody, man. It's just. Let's see. Oh, here's one for you. How do you have a delayed game after a turnover? That's awful coaching. Gase should have been fired right there for that.
There have been at least 15 different moments where you could say Gase should have been fired right then and there for decisions that have been made through the first 5 games of this year. And that was just another one of them.
I've never been more embarrassed and apathetic being a Jets fan, and that's saying a lot. Dude, it's bad. Like, it's bad. Like, I'll go running every Sunday morning, just try to get, kind of get fresh air and kind of feel good and get rid of all the anger and kind of get relaxed. I don't even wear Jet stuff anymore, dude. I don't even wear all my Jets, like the long sleeve shirts, all the
bottom of the closet. Yep,
dude. They're nowhere near to be found, man. Like, I don't even think about wearing that shit. And the funny thing is, usually you see people I go down like the Asbury Park boardwalk, like all down the boardwalk along the water, along the beach, and you see all fans wearing all their football gear. Giants fans, Cowboy fans, Steelers, Panthers, all this shit. Dude. The last 2 weeks, I have not seen one Jets t-shirt nowhere. You just see like a couple casuals. You kind of smile good, like you laugh. Nobody, dude. No Jets t-shirts nowhere. Don't ever say how it can get worse to the Jets fan, because they always find a way to make it worse. I mean, what else could happen here? I mean, Darnold's already hurt. Becton's already hurt. They're losing every week. They're getting blown out. I mean, what else could possibly happen? Your whole rookie class is hurt.
An Adam Gase extension.
Could you imagine they doubled? No, you're right. It could get worse. Chris Johnson could come out tomorrow and double down and be like, you know what? This team's still fighting for my coach.
Vote of confidence. Vote of confidence. We saw all we needed to see in practice. These guys are fighting hard. They believe in Adam Gase. We're going to make sure that they know that he's going to be here for the long haul. Jet up. Take flight.
You guys can stream on Twitch. And wait, we ain't taking any donations, man. No, if we do this, we're going to do it just like we're doing it now. And then we're going to have like drinking contests. Like, we'll have like rules. There'll be rules. Like, you have to do certain things. Like 3rd and 1, we don't get it, you drink. Every bad play call.
Disaster.
Disgusting. Yep, that pretty much sums it up here. Bring back the old Jets uniforms. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I saw Darnold drinking Truly on the sideline. I think he watches the stream.
That's great.
I forgot Hines Ward was our wide receiver coach. I mean,
not making much of a difference.
Nope. Marcus May is better at free safety. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with him, man. I honestly don't understand.
I'll pat myself on the back for that one. That was one thing I said before the year. Why mess around with a good thing? I mean, he was a good deep safety, great in coverage. Why try and teach him the Jamal Adams role? To me, that should have been reserved for Ashton Davis or McDougald, although I guess I could see why they didn't want McDougald in that role since he's scared to tackle. But, yeah, I mean, Marcus May was good at his role, free safety. messing around with him, I don't know if that was a good idea or not, especially with the fact that he's had some injury issues in the past.
Do the first live stream for the Jets Chiefs game. Could you imagine? Dude, that one would be a disaster. That would be bad, man. We'd probably get banned from YouTube.
That'd be real bad.
It's refreshing to not hear any of the get rid of Sam shit this week. Maybe people know it's not the team. Maybe people now know it's the team around him and not him. Well, he didn't play today. We know that.
Exactly.
We know that Joe Flacco isn't the answer.
Exactly. It was the same problem, so it's not Sam.
Can we get a deep ball? Well, he actually threw a couple today.
Yeah, the one to Crowder. Other than that, not a whole lot.
How do you guys feel about Joe Flacco, how Joe Flacco played, and could he improve going forward? I mean, he was rusty to start. I mean, he was misfiring at some throws. I think he hasn't played in a year. New offense, and very, very pedestrian receiving core. I mean, he wasn't the problem. I mean, he did all right. He's a veteran guy. I mean, this is kind of what you're paying for, right?
Yeah, I mean, not much of a difference from what we've seen, first 4 weeks. Some moments where he played well, some other moments, like you said, where he was rusty, missed some throws.
Do a couple more here because I got my drink all over the floor here because I spilled it. Just want to say, awesome show, guys. Good to hear someone else frustrated as hell. We appreciate you guys all watching this, man. We didn't really know how this was going to work out, and this has been fun. But now the only problem, I take notes during it. Look, I'm like Adam Gase now, dude. I got like notes. I got to write things down. I got to write things down during the game now. I got to hold myself accountable. Now that then you spill your drink all over it, like this is a problem. I can't even read half my shit anymore.
Jets should just bring us on post game. We could explain half the shit that went wrong better than Gase could.
We break down a film for him. Let's see. I think 0-16 is definitely possible. I think it's on the table, man. I really do. Right?
I mean, I thought the Dolphin games were going to be the ones that we'd have to worry about. But, if they're beating the Niners right now, I'm not watching the game. But, yeah, if they're beating the Niners right now and rolling them, then that's going to be an issue, I think.
I legit feel bad for you guys. I really like Darnold, but Gase, man, what a clown. It's funny. A lot of Bills fans, they all say the same thing because they can kind of relate, man, where it's like they've been there where we've been, and they finally get the rebuild right, and they're enjoying it, and they kind of feel bad for us because we can't get to that same place.
Well, yeah, they watched Josh Allen struggle through most of his rookie year, and then they started prioritizing the offense. They had the right pieces around him, head coach. They traded for Stephon Diggs, gave up a first rounder, drafted 2 more receivers. Like they've done everything right around him, solidified the offensive line as well. So yeah, and now you're watching him play like an MVP. So that's how you build around your quarterback.
I won't read Costello anymore because his constant defense of Gase. A lot of those guys are starting to turn the corner a little bit because they have to. They have no choice. Like Adam Gase had him in his back pocket because he wanted to pass his story out and get his narrative out there. But now he's been so inept and so incompetent, they have no choice but to start questioning him. And now, like, Samini's just unloading on him now. Like, they're all just attacking him, which is
too little, too late though. After you called out the fans last year, so
yep, yeah, because we're the problem.
Yeah.
All right, prime time. Let's see. Yep, this is a good one. Guys, do you agree that the O-line isn't anywhere near where we thought it would be? Joe Douglas has to answer for this, surely. I agree. It's been a mess, man. And listen, and that we understand there's a lot of injuries. You understand that Becton's out, but a lot of guys that we thought were building blocks, like Fant, McGovern, Van Roten. Lewis.
I mean, how much money did they spend on the offensive line this offseason? I mean, they spent a significant amount of their free agent money, and the rest of it they didn't even spend. They spent a few bucks here and there on some bargain signings on defense, but the majority of their main cap space they invested or they allocated into the offensive line. And the results for that money, they haven't been there. Becton's been fine. No issue there. He's an anchor going forward. You love that. But, yeah, I mean, between Van Roten, he's been awful. McGovern, not worth the money you're paying him. Fant started strong early, but, today at left tackle didn't look good. Even, some of the injuries he's had makes you wonder whether or not you're going to pay him the contract he has for years 2 and 3. Just still a lot of questions, a lot more than you'd want to have after 5 weeks.
And the one thing, this is a great comment. Joe Douglas is going to get massive heat from the media because he's going to be in a tough spot because if he evaluates certain players and says they're a good fit for this team and they don't play well, does he say, I made a mistake and got the wrong player, or did my coach not use him right? Like, you know what I mean? Like he said, hey, listen, my job is to protect Sam Darnold. He promises his parents, I'm going to protect your son, all this other bullshit, right?
Yep.
Cool. You bring in all these offensive linemen, you revamp your offensive line, you're still not playing well. So these are guys, and he's supposed to be an offensive line guru, another guru on our organization. A lot of gurus around here, a lot of losing too, but whatever. So he brought him in. These are guys he trusted his franchise quarterback with. They're not playing well. So then, Joe Douglas, how do you answer that question that when they're not playing well? Did you sign the wrong guy, Or are they not being coached right? Or are they not playing well? Or how does he handle that question?
Well, you know what? I think this could go back to the comment from earlier, where somebody mentioned, he might have went bargain basement shopping because maybe he wasn't so confident in Adam Gase being the long-term guy. So you take some flyers on some guys on low-risk contracts. If they work out and Adam Gase is still your coach, great. You have him at a decent price going forward. If you're firing Adam Gase, then you can cut ties and kind of start over with as much cap space as possible with your new head coach. Fine. But he still deserves heat for the fact that, again, you pretty much threw your young quarterback under the bus. So, I mean, how do you get a proper evaluation on what Sam is, or even Adam Gase? If you had that many questions about him, you don't go into this year with him as your head coach. You do whatever possible to set Sam up for success and build around him with a coach that can actually maximize his talent.
My wife said I have a drinking problem. I just said, no, I'm a Jets fan. I mean, can't keep using injuries as excuses. And that's a really good point, because so many other teams in the NFL are dealing with the same shit. Like week in and week out, you see teams are down to their third, fourth, fifth string linemen. Their pass rushers are going out. Like, look at today, Chandler Jones went out. And that backup kid had 2 sacks, 3 sacks?
Yep.
He's running amok, doing all kinds of shit. Everybody, it's like when you play with pride and you play and you want it more than the guy in front of you, you make plays. The Jets are sleepwalking, man. They're just cashing checks. A lot of them are, dude. Like, you know what? Their eye is out the door. Like, listen, we know we're gone. We know he's gone. Let's just get our checks and keep moving along.
You can see when a team is playing together, when they're motivated, when they're playing for their head coach. Best example, Rex Ryan, the year before he got fired. He was working with a rookie Geno Smith, throwing the ball to David Nelson. He had no corners. That team had nothing. They literally had nothing. Yep. And they went 8-8. Every week, they went out there, they battled their asses off for their head coach, and they saved his job. They brought him back for another year. Yep. Right? It didn't work out, but that team rallied around their head coach, and they brought him back. And he got the most out of guys. Guys were willing to run through a brick wall for him. You don't see any of that. No sense of pride.
You see no passion at all, dude.
No pride, no passion, nothing from these guys right now.
I actually wanted Josh Allen over Sam Darnold. You'd be one of the few, Sean, because I know almost every Jets fan that we talked to. And when in that time of period, we do our live radio show on Tuesday nights, and we did like draft shows, everything else. Jet fans were sucked for Sam, ecstatic. And if we're being honest, most fans were mocking Josh Allen, saying, "Oh yeah, he's erratic."
2.0. Hackenberg 2.0.
Yep, he's very erratic. He's got a good arm. He's not accurate. He hits garbage cans. He does all this stuff. And Josh Allen has proven almost every Jet fan wrong by how well he's playing. Yep. So, but coming that time of the draft, every Jets fan was over the moon for Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah. Most of the discussion at pick 3 was either Baker Mayfield or Josh Rosen, because we didn't think Sam was going to be there, and we were all delighted that he was.
Nobody said Josh Allen. Nobody.
Exactly. A lot of other people were, maybe hoping for Lamar Jackson. I know you were big on him, but Josh Allen, he was at the bottom of the list pretty much.
The handling of the Becton injury is enough for firing staff by itself. The handling of the Darnold injury is enough to fire the staff by itself. There's 2 moves right there. It's gross negligence. There's nothing. I mean, I could get my hands on a couple of breathalyzers if that helps the live stream. I don't think we want a breathalyzer, man, because we'll be ashamed of ourselves. Like, it's a second quarter. We're at a 0.18. Is that bad? Especially against the Dolphins. Can you imagine against the Dolphins? Oh my god.
Jeez.
Let's see. We'll do a couple more because I have drinks everywhere on the floor and I'm starving. Allen has a team built around him. Yeah, most of these quarterbacks do. Look at today with Kyler Murray. And today wasn't an impressive game by no means until like later on in the game. But when push came to shove, he has a good coach and he has DeAndre Hopkins to bail him out.
Good team, both quarterbacks. Good team around them and a system that's catered to what they do well. They let him run the ball. I mean, that's what it's about. And Sam can run it. I mean, we saw it on the Thursday night game, the 46-yard touchdown run. He can move a little bit. Yet how many times do we see him get the opportunities to do that? Usually it's him kind of improvising and doing it on his own instead of the design plays. Can't even run it, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1.
Nope.
Never setting up for success. So
our O-line last year is arguably better than this year's. Outside of Becton, we are still really bad. And look at elsewhere. Osemele, Beachum, Winters, they're all thriving. Unfortunately, Osemele got hurt today. Yep. Winters is kind of Beachum playing pretty well. But, I mean,
Shell also.
Shell, another guy. Let's see what we got here. Some of this shit. This comment, I'm not buying this at all. Somebody, I forget. This is another one. It's so annoying how Bell only gets 13 carries, but Gore gets 9.
Expected that.
Yeah. Every time Dolphins score, you pound the beer. Oh, Jesus, that'd be dangerous. Where was it? There was another one that made this comment here. They're not going to fire Gase yet. They're still paying Todd Bowles. This comment was, I forgot who reported that initially. Was it Ian Rappaport that did that first, or was it Samini?
I forget who.
So this comment drives me insane because if you want to act like an NFL organization, you can't all of a sudden start getting cheap. When you're making a decision like that because you made a bad decision and you fired Bowles and now you want to eat this Gase contract, it's about saving your team. It's about establishing your culture. It's like that remaining money for Gase isn't going to break your bank. And if it does, sell the team, right? How much could Gase possibly make? It ain't breaking your bank, man. I mean, that comment's just bullshit. I hate that comment.
The combined and I don't know this for a fact, but I'm willing to bet the combined salary of Gase and Bowles, whatever they're making this year,
probably less than Matt Rule.
I'm sure it's less than about half, if not 20 teams across the NFL. So that shouldn't matter.
Yeah, if money is part of your football decision-making process, you have a problem.
Sell the fucking team then.
Yeah, exactly. All right. How do you guys rate our defense? Again, Williams has to be answered for our performance. It's been embarrassing. You're in a tough spot when you're facing the Cardinals and you only had when Bless Austin went out, I'm like, oh, Christ. You have no Bless Austin. You have no pass rush, and you have Hopkins, Fitzgerald, Kirk. They didn't even use Dan Arnold today. I mean, they were up against it today. But I'm surprised they don't get more of a pass rush, man.
Well, I mean, I felt like that was the philosophy on defense, to drop everyone back, keep a couple spies on Murray so that he couldn't run the ball, be aware of the checkdowns and things like that. But they made it too easy. It was too easy to get first downs. Cardinals had 28 of them, I think, on the day. And yeah, I mean, for a while, I felt like they hung in there, bend but don't break. Didn't give up a whole lot of points, but towards the end, they just they tanked. And I felt like it was a given. They were going to give up at least 30 points. And that was, again, with the Cardinals not playing as well as they could have. So
first Sunday, I have no Jets gear on. I mean, I don't wear it. I can't. I look at it, I start laughing.
Haven't in a while.
Yeah, I get angry. I look at it, I get angry. Let's see. Herndon is awful, dropping wide open passes consistently or constantly. I mean, this has just been a nightmare of a year for him. I mean, I don't know what to even say about him, dude. Like the expectations were so high, and he's now relegated to being like just a guy.
Yeah, he's a complimentary piece at best at this point. You can't even look at him as a starting tight end, and that's a shame because, after his rookie year, I really thought his ceiling was pretty high where he could, maybe develop into a 60, 70 catch guy. I mean, you catch 39 passes as a rookie, that's pretty good. And, he was stretching the field, doing some things, showing off some speed, and it's all been downhill this year. I know he hasn't been featured a lot, but yeah, I mean, in the few opportunities that he has had, he hasn't made enough with it.
It sucks seeing other teams use their rookie wide receiver, and Arch still hasn't played in 5 games because of injury. Cannot be any more frustrating, especially at the missed training camp. So he probably doesn't know the offense. He's got no chemistry, no understanding of the NFL game, nothing. He's so far behind the 8 ball this year. It's disgusting.
That really might be the one thing that pisses me off more than anything else about this year is how many rookie wideouts are out there just lighting it up. Because we all knew that was like the biggest issue on this team, aside from the offensive line. You invested all your money in the offensive line, so you should have been able to solve that in free agency. There were guys you could have brought in. You made the decisions you made, fine, but address the wide receiver position in the draft, and all you came away from it was with Mims. So I don't know.
D-line. Oh wait, hold on. I missed it. Here it is. D-line, a bright spot. Williams and Franklin Myers, a good combo. A bright spot? We just got blown out. Is there a bright spot today? Other than Crowder?
Franklin Myers as an individual is making some good plays. Quentin Williams, you see in spots, make some plays, but the defense, to say any unit, D-line, linebackers, secondary, look good today? Nah.
All right, prime time. When are we going to decide about this? There's nothing to look forward to with these games while Sam is out. A live stream from you guys will be entertainment at least.
I mean, listen, I'm down if you are. If you want to do it.
How does that work? The only question I have, I was
gonna say I would worry about the one comment about it being in sync, where everyone's kind of catching it on the same time. But
so how do we test it?
Especially us.
So we'd have to watch the game at the same time and see what play we're watching, so we can comment on it. If we're on the same there's no time delay, or I have to watch it and count the 2. That'd be ridiculous or some shit.
Well, I guess maybe Thursday night we hop on live really quick and we throw the game on and just see if it's coming in at the same time.
Or tomorrow night or Tuesday, one of these nights, and see. Yeah, there's games every night now. We could do that if you want. I guess if that's
gonna be bad.
Quentin Williams is a bust. Trade him. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, Just disappointing, man. I'm so tired of interior linemen on this team. Like, I'm just tired of all of it.
See, I don't even want to call him a bust yet, but like, even if he becomes a good player, is it going to be worth third overall pick where he's like Aaron Donald? Probably not. So with all the other needs that we had entering that draft, I mean, that was just not the pick to make.
I don't care if it's out of sync. It doesn't even matter. You guys just have to show your faces and mute your TV. I mean, I can't even imagine we were thinking about doing this shit. Let's see, we got. I know channels that do live play-by-play. I mean, I don't want to do no play-by-play. We can just, if we're all watching the same game, we'll just look at it. We'll make some comments, but I'm just going to pass on comments like, well, that block sucked. This guy sucked. This is terrible. I don't know.
Something to consider. I don't know.
Oh my god, this shit. This is crazy. All right, prime time. It's 6:30. We've done this for about an hour and almost 2 hours now. So your final thoughts on this fiasco. Jets are 0-5. Dan Quinn's been fired. Adam Gase is still hired, still here. What do you think?
I mean, you said it. 2 prominent coaches that have done a lot more than Adam Gase have done in their career. They've both been fired because those organizations deemed that it was not acceptable. Yet our owner sits around and continues to praise our head coach for getting less out of this team, while our GM continues to make moves that just send us further and further back. I hate sitting here and just being so negative about everything, but again, it's reality at this point. Thank you guys for sticking with us, and yeah, talk to you guys. Monday night, Tuesday night?
Yeah, whenever you want to do it. I mean, yeah, thank you first of all for watching. And now it's like, now Jets have to answer something, because now if another head coach is fired, you're 0-5, you've been blown out. Just because Joe Flacco played today is not an answer to justify, not a reason to justify a loss. We just lost to a third-string quarterback on the Broncos. Never played a game in the NFL before. So stop justifying losses, stop justifying excuses, and make a change, man. Like, it's a good thing to do. Like, it just makes sense on every facet. I mean, the bye week is a long way to wait. So do it now. And then, like you said, get the ear, get somebody in Sam Darnold's ear, somebody new, get some accountability in the locker room, get it changing your culture a little bit. And maybe we just talked about there's only 2 guys on this team that are considered building blocks or playing well or getting better. Maybe a new coach helps us resurrect somebody for the rest of the season. Maybe we could find some guys, make them play better. Say, hey, you know what? You are a building block. We didn't realize it because you're not being coached right. So I don't know, man. I'm out of it.
Same.
Talk to you later, man.
Later.